All right. Good evening, everybody. If you're out there watching, say something so we know you're there. Welcome to this week's episode of This Week Unloaded. And with us so far on the panel, we have Mr. DM Foss. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm sure people out there are probably wondering what we're going to talk about. I mean, there's no hints on the screen or anything. So, probably one of the most egregious cases of government overreach that's really got people on the internet pissed off right now. I don't know if you use X or not, but man, people are extremely angry right now about what the state of New York did.
I do not use X.
Yeah, moves out there. He says, "Rest in peace to Peanut and Fred." And wait, do you know the whole story? Or
I do, but why don't you let everyone else know?
all right. Well, essentially, this guy and his wife found this baby squirrel about 7 years ago, and it was apparently orphaned. So they took it in and raised it for a couple months, thinking they could release it back into the wild once it got older and big enough to care for itself. Well, they tried to do that, and that night, the squirrel got attacked by something and clearly wasn't able to defend itself, so they took the squirrel back in. In the attack, the squirrel lost half of his tail. So they decided they were just going to keep the squirrel as a pet. Again, they've had this squirrel for 7 years, and they started teaching it to do these little tricks and stuff. And so they started making videos and putting the videos up on TikTok and on Instagram. And they had amassed 1 million followers on TikTok and over 500,000 on Instagram. And they decided, because of the success they had with the squirrel, that they would start a refuge for elderly farm animals and any other orphan wildlife that somebody brought them or they found themselves. They had about 300 animals in their refuge. The money that the income they were getting from Instagram and TikTok was going to fund the animal refuge. Recently, they also found the raccoon that was orphaned, and they named him Fred. The squirrel was Peanut. So that's where Peanut and Fred come from. Well, fast forward, some busybody on the internet contacts the authorities in New York State and informs them that these people are living with a squirrel and a raccoon in their home. The state of New York, instead of contacting the couple and finding out what's going on, sends in reports I've heard both the 10 and 12 law enforcement officers from different divisions to raid these people's house with a search warrant. They ransacked their home, harassed the wife on her immigration status when she's a naturalized citizen, and seized both the squirrel and the raccoon after a 5-hour search of the home, in which the couple weren't allowed to go into their home. except for once when they let the husband go into the home to use the bathroom, and he had to do that under a police guard. And they weren't allowed to take care of any of the other animals during that search period either. Once they seized the animals, the raccoon and the squirrel, they took them to some animal shelter and euthanized them under the excuse that they had to test them for rabies, when neither animal was showing any signs of being rabid in the slightest little bit whatsoever. Neither animal, to anybody's knowledge, had ever been exposed to rabies.
Well, the squirrel made a furtive movement and the raccoon was resisting. They had no choice for officer safety.
You can tell if an animal's rabid or not. And remember that some of these officers were trained to handle it. They would have been able to tell the difference.
Maybe they're just bad at their job.
You think? It's got people on the internet fuming right now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Angry people on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't think so. I don't think it's no. Mm-mm. People on the internet are always level-headed. Yeah. People were making T-shirts that say "Justice for Peanut" and other stuff. Different memes. Elon Musk has really been posting about it on X. He's furious at the government overreach.
I seriously doubt Elon Musk is furious over a squirrel and moose.
Not
I think
necessarily because of the animals. I think it's because he's pissed about the. He's been going on about government overreach on the federal level, and then this happens and falls right into his lap, and he's milking it for everything he can.
I think that's more of what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not qualifying it as good or bad. I'm just saying I really doubt he's upset over a squirrel and a raccoon being killed.
I don't think anybody's so much, except for the family involved, obviously, about the so much about the raccoon and squirrel per se in and of itself. I think people are just angry because of the overreaction on the part of the government to this. If some people said, well, New York has a law about where you have to have a license or something to have a squirrel or a raccoon, so why didn't they fine them and let them know that they were in violation? Because according to what people are responding that live in New York that have looked up the law, it only calls for a fine. So even any way you look at it, the state of New York overreacted. You don't send in 10 to 12 officers to raid a home if the offense involved only entails a citation. In that situation, you should only send one, maybe two officers. They go and see if it's true. If so, they write a ticket and possibly inform the family about how they correct the problem with getting the proper licensure and such. Instead, you think these people are running drugs. Oh, no, wait, no, because state of New York, they probably will let them off. It's absolutely insane. Things are so backwards right now.
Well, I will say it's not the first time it's happened. I don't know about New York, but it's kind of I can't say it's common because I don't know for sure, but I have seen stories in the past, something similar, where they confiscate an animal, and sometimes they just say, "Well, we don't have anywhere to put it, so we're going to put it down." This one, sounds a little, details are a little bit different, but the overall story is similar. It's and yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what they do.
I think what one of the things I hinted at was about how in New York you got illegals running around all over the place. Yet people killing animals and cooking them in New York City. And here you have a family that had a well taken care of squirrel and raccoon, and they're the ones that get punished. It's absolutely crazy. The absolutely insane.
Down. Don't you dare. Don't. You know that. Lay down.
Some of the people on X are speculating, okay, if the state of New York is going to act like this when somebody anonymously reports somebody having a squirrel or a raccoon, how's the state of New York going to react if somebody anonymously complains about your dog barking? I mean, your dog keeps barking in your backyard. That's a violation of noise ordinances. They're going to react in the same way.
I don't know.
Well, it's kind of a rhetorical question. But it does beg the question. And let's face it, it's not the first time that the state of New York has overreacted to something. You had people in Kennedy Airport being arrested for traveling legally with a firearm.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a while. Anybody that has a stopover in New York on their way through to somewhere else, um, getting hemmed up for firearm charges.
Mm-hmm. Even though they're traveling perfectly legally under
Yeah.
FOPA. If you're flying from the Northeast down south or vice versa, do not get a flight delay over in the state of New York, especially New York City. And there was another family that just came forward. The state of New York did the same thing to them 2 years ago. The only difference there is they only sent 1 or 2 officers. They didn't send in 10 to 12 people. Which, like I say, 1 to 2 sounds a lot more reasonable. But they still seized the animal and euthanized it, like they did in this case. In that case, it was just a squirrel. It wasn't a squirrel and a raccoon, but still. And the best part about the squirrel Peanut, you know how many cases there are on record of a squirrel biting a human and the human contracting rabies?
I take it not a lot. My dog is a squirrel killer, and I took him to the vet, because he had been bitten on the face. Yeah, and the vet said, yeah, there's nothing he's going to catch from a squirrel.
Yeah. Well, the answer is 0. There hasn't been a single documented case within the United States of a person catching rabies from a squirrel bite. Not one. The chances will be much higher if it was a raccoon. Raccoons are known carriers of rabies at times, but this raccoon showed no signs of it. This raccoon showed signs of being an immature raccoon who wasn't sure about what was going on and was trying to hide.
Well, maybe it looked like he had a knife.
Yeah. He had a little P365 that he was threatening the officers with.
There was a bulge in his pants.
Uh-huh. I mean, look at that cute little squirrel. All he's doing is wanting to drink his Dunkin'. And along comes the state of New York. Or the raccoon, rather, not the squirrel. Would a rabid raccoon be drinking a Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
No, they'd probably be drinking Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. In what dangerous squirrel wears a cowboy hat?
No. No. Never mind.
Yeah, Ron Wayne's out there in the chat. Evening, Ron. He posted a raccoon and something else. I can't tell what. Raccoon and squirrel. It's hard to tell on what that is exactly in the chat window here on Rumble Studio.
Even on my big screen, well, slightly larger screen, it's hard to see what it is.
Yeah, I looked over on YouTube and saw what it was. I cheated, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, it works. At least on Rumble side. I don't know if that showed up on YouTube. Yes, it did. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. It's got that delay still. Showed up right away on Rumble. Took a couple of seconds on YouTube.
Huh.
I don't have X open to check to see if it's on there or not. It should be.
Did you just type that in YouTube or did you type it in?
Nope. I typed it in. I set the little drop down that says private. You can drop that down. And you can set it to all, and it'll type it into all the different chats.
I was just curious on why there was 2 postings, one for Rumble, one for YouTube on Rumble.
Probably because it's just showing that it's on both. Would be my guess anyway.
Oh yeah, in the little feed that's on the screen, it only shows it once. But over in our chat window, it shows it twice.
Yep.
Curious.
Why is my chat window on X set to verified only? Is there a way to change that? I'm not going to play around with X right now to find out. I know I didn't set it to do that. So if you're watching on X, apologies if you can't use the little chat window. I did not set that to that. If you don't have the verified mark, I don't know if there's a setting I have to change to make that work for you guys. I will look into that later. I'm not gonna try and figure that out in the middle of the chat and something gets screwed up. So again, if you're watching on X, I apologize for that being set that way. I didn't notice that being a thing until just now. But apparently that the text window for Twitter/X in this is not connected. It will not do anything on X. Either that or it doesn't register that I'm a freaking god dang verified user.
You're a ghost.
Yeah. Where's that studio at? So I just typed over there again on Twitter or X. I keep wanting to call it Twitter still. About the issue there. Brian says if he had a squirrel, it would definitely have a cowboy hat, chaps, and a six-pewter.
It's pronounced shaps.
Yeah, but would a squirrel let you put all that on? The hat,
Well,
maybe.
Peanut was wearing a hat.
Yeah, Peanut was wearing a hat, but you don't see
Maybe.
Peanut with the rest of that.
Maybe the squirrel will be fashionable.
Lord, a gay squirrel.
Not gay, just flamboyant.
Yeah. Peanut also liked Egos, apparently. I don't know if you've seen the little video clips of him eating Eggo waffles.
No. I used to feed the squirrels a nice mix of different nuts, and they didn't really care for fruit that I put out. Had little feeder that looked like a porch swing, so they'd sit on the little porch swing thing, and then my dog started killing them, so I had to stop feeding the squirrels. The other side of our fence looks like a little graveyard. Lots of squirrel and bird and mole bones.
Were they brown squirrels or gray squirrels?
Gray squirrels.
Oh, that they're a menace. Let him kill all the gray squirrels that he wants.
We'll get Douglas squirrels, which are kind of like a little brown squirrel. And there's a western gray squirrel, which looks almost identical to the eastern gray squirrel, but is smaller. So I don't know if I've ever seen one because I don't know the difference between a juvenile gray, eastern gray, and a full-size western gray.
Well, size ain't the problem. The damn eastern gray squirrel, they like to chew on wires and.
Well, they've pushed out all the native squirrels.
Yeah, they're doing that here too. Gray squirrels will castrate male brown squirrels if they if they catch them. Nice little creatures, aren't they? And they don't even have the courtesy to use anesthesia.
Well, you don't really use anesthesia for castrating animals.
Yeah, but they're using their teeth.
Yeah, that's actually an Australian thing where for sheep, because it's hard. It's the kind of the fastest way is you hold the sheep back, take a bite, spit them out.
Uh-huh. Sounds like something they would do in Australia.
My high school had an ag department. So what else did you have on the docket?
No, not much. That was the main thing. I found a picture I was looking for. So hold on. Come back over here. It's not a very big picture of it, but it's the one I could find. You see the squirrel there eating the Eggo. And there's a few different ones with the little squirrel eating the Eggo waffle.
He looks awfully fat. That's one thing I don't care for is pet owners that overfeed their pets. There's no reason to overfeed your pet.
That's the only picture where he looks like that. I think it just might be the way he's holding the waffle or something. Because every other picture, he looks like a perfectly healthy, normal squirrel. That's what I think's going on. Because a brown squirrel, because the way that picture looks, if they squat down right, it makes they bunch up. You know what I mean? So they look like they're bigger than what they actually are. But then when they stand up properly and stretch out to their full length, they'll be thin. You don't get that so much with gray squirrels, but brown squirrels will do that. I think that's what was going on in that picture.
He's never going to get better if you keep enabling him, Rich. Well, I guess he's never going to get better now.
No. It's too late for that now. See these pictures? They show what I'm talking about. See how he looks more squat when he's sitting like that, and like here in the middle in the left picture. But then on the right hand side, he's stretched out to his proper length, his actual proper size, I guess you could say. And he's just looks like a regular squirrel at that point.
Oh, he's still looking a little thick. I see Ozzy Orsborn and Coop is out there.
Yeah, Coop and Ozzy, how you guys doing tonight? You're probably basing it based on gray squirrels too. Brown squirrels are a little bit thicker than gray squirrels.
They're thick.
Yeah. Yeah, gray squirrels tend to be long and thin, and brown squirrels are a little bit thicker than that and tend to be shorter. And they're getting to be rarer, much rarer, yeah, because of what the gray squirrels do to them. You would say gray squirrels are nasty little creatures. They're rats with bushy tails that live in trees. But they're cleaner than rats, so there's that. Brown squirrels also tend to be more timid and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if the animal that attacked um, Peanut when he was younger was a gray squirrel. Ron Wayne says, and fox squirrels are huge. And so does Coop. Coop says fox squirrels are huge. I don't know if I've ever seen one of those. We don't have those around here. Let's see. No. Yeah, they look pretty big. Let me go back over here.
There are fox squirrels in Washington, but I don't think I've ever seen one.
Look like a big gray squirrel. If that's a standard squirrel feeder, that's a big squirrel.
Oh, they're not native to the West. They were introduced.
Yeah, that one looks like this one's labeled as being a fox squirrel. It looks like a big gray squirrel. But there are some of the pictures do have pictures of black ones and stuff too in the search I found.
That's kind of what the Douglas squirrels look like.
Here's one that's more of a black color with some brown on it. It's a ninja squirrel.
Looks like
Like one.
it's got some tiggle bitties there.
Uh-huh. Here's another one. Ain't sure what that is on the ground right there. Almost looks like an upside down cup. If so, that's a big squirrel.
Yeah, I don't know. Could be a marker of some kind.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway, you cut it. That's a big squirrel.
Huh. There's a comment from Ron Wayne on YouTube that never made it over to Rumble.
Oh, really?
Oh.
You big dummy. Fred Sanford. This one in the dark, you might mistake it for a skunk.
Looks like a mini bear.
Yeah. That's a big squirrel.
It looks like a badger.
So what else we got to talk about? What else been going on this week? Ron says black bear squirrel. Yeah, I mean, its snout and stuff, it kind of did look like a black bear. It had that light colored snout and the rest all black. Coop says he's seen fox squirrels down there as big as a small dog. That's crazy. He says the fuck squirrels down there getting massive. Abby's out there. Didn't see her. When'd she come in? Apparently when she first came in, didn't show up on the Rumble side either.
No, I think it did. I saw her.
I saw one of her comments, but that was after Coop said hi. I scrolled back up, and whatever comment he was, saying hi to her on isn't there on the Rumble side.
Oh, maybe I was looking at YouTube when I saw it.
Yeah, 'cause first comment I see on the Rumble Studio side is where she says she hasn't seen Sanford's son in a little while. So, yeah, there's her comment on saying hi on the YouTube side, on the YouTube chat window, but didn't show up in the Rumble Studio window. Interesting. Ozzy says there's a town about 30 miles south of him that is known as the home of the white squirrel. This has quickly turned into a squirrel chat. You know who the best squirrel is?
Who?
Secret Squirrel, obviously. No, that one. I'm playing with OBS midstream. So I don't cross the stream, right? That matters. Good enough. Oops, nope. Gotta move it over just a little bit.
You're encroaching.
All right, now we're good. Go on, folks. Give us something else to talk about besides squirrels.
I watched a French movie last night. Well, early this morning.
A French movie?
Yep.
Are you getting all hoity-toity?
I forget what the French name is, but it was Smoking Makes You Cough. I believe was the English translation of the name. And it was kind of like a Power Rangers team. They fight monsters, not huge monsters, but it was not a good movie. And they're like the tobacco team. And they were at the beginning of the movie, they're fighting a turtle monster, and they can't defeat it by punching it. So they decide to give it cancer. And each of them can spray. One is like chlorine, one is mercury, and they explode it by giving it cancer.
Uh-huh. Wow. That's all kinds of special.
Yeah.
Ron wants to know were there mimes in it?
No. But it is kind of out there. Their boss was a puppet, some kind of rat puppet that slobbered some kind of green slime and slept with women. I kind of stopped paying attention early on. At one point, there's this bucket of goo that must have been somebody because it's like blood and pieces of flesh, but it still has a mouth that can talk. At one point, the person carrying the bucket tips the bucket over a little bit so it can throw up. And then she gets startled and drops it on the ground.
Uh-huh. Sounds like an Oscar winner there, folks. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Ozzy was asking what the squirrel that was with Bullwinkle. And Ron Wayne already answered Rocky. Yeah. Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
And now for something different. Oh, now for something I hope you'll like, I think he says.
Yeah. Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Ron says, rat puppets. Sounds legit. And Coop says you were watching a porn dubbed from French.
Well, I could say it was not a porn. It was. I don't recall any nudity in it. It was on Hulu.
Mini Wayne's out there. Banzai, Mini Wayne. He said somebody mentioned puppets. One of the cats is eating what's left of the dog's food.
Yeah, here's the rat.
Looks like a counterfeit version of the rats from the Muppets. Mini Wayne says those French puppets can get crazy. Coop says puppets. We're about to have an election. Will it be 4 more years of a puppet or 4 more years of Trump? I forget who it was, put out a poll today saying that Kamala Harris leads in Texas.
Well, it depends on how did they do the poll? Who did they poll? Are they oversampling? How many people are they polling? Like 6 people?
Mm-hmm. That's usually the way it works. They'll poll 200 people and say it represents the whole country or a whole state.
Yeah, the only way to ever somewhat kind of trust a poll is to take an aggregate of many polls.
Misty's out there. Isn't it glorious, Mrs. Wayne? Yeah, barbecues out there. Good dang. Oh, there's Thor's axe.
Apparently, also on Hulu, there's Slaughter House. A college student takes an adorable creature out of the jungle to gain popularity, only to discover it goes on a rampant killing spree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you can outrun a sloth.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 3-toed or 5-toed.
Yeah, they're not very fast. At least not for long durations.
Barbecue said he didn't get a link.
Oh, let me check my email. I've been known to forget somebody when sending out the links. Nope, he's right. I forgot to put him on there.
Yes, forgot. You forgot to put him on there.
Oh, it ain't the first time I've done it. I forwarded you the link if you want to jump on barbecue. So what happened to being able to create email groups? I'm too lazy. I just go through and click them as they pop up.
I don't like to do that. Each person that I send an email to is important to me and deserve individual emails.
I just see everybody.
That's why when I respond, say hello to people in the comments, I never put more than one name because I'm talking to that one person at that one time.
Yeah, Coop says forgetting barbecue is a crime. Only if barbecue's a squirrel. So I don't think he's a squirrel. If so, it's a good thing he doesn't live in New York.
Evening.
Oh, he's in here, but we don't see him on screen.
Yeah, I don't know why. I uploaded an avatar and everything, and it's not showing up.
No, you got to use
Why
like
didn't-
OBS and use
Yeah.
alternate camera setting.
I say that's all gibberish to me. That's all right.
Yeah, gotta
Nobody
use
needs to realize I'm actually in here, anyways.
Yep. If you want to be on screen, you either got to have your camera on or have a virtual camera using OBS or some other software that does it. Because Rumble hasn't enabled that function. At least not as yet. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we didn't even have a private chat. We have a private chat now.
Right. They're catching up fast.
Mm-hmm. So, who knows? Give it a little bit more time, and we might be able to just have our cameras off with avatars like we used to do.
Like, I really don't care about if I had my camera on or off. The only problem is, like, with where I hold my phone to see anything, all you're going to see is, like, my forehead. You won't even see where the hairline should be. It's just the forehead.
Oh, now Minnie Wayne's out there tormenting Mrs. Wayne.
Good. She deserves it. I'm not sure why she deserves it, but it sounded good.
I can't quit yawning.
So how's that yeast infection in your ear, Rich? Is it all taken care of?
That's went away. As far as the ear
Oh,
infection,
good.
not a yeast infection, just the ear infection.
Ear infection, yeast infection in the ear is still an infection in the ear. Like, just because I'm a little bit more descriptive with it.
Uh-huh.
Give me that. Real lively chat you got going here, Rich.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could have done a bracket or something. No, never mind. Don't do that.
There's only
Last time
3
you did that,
people.
I was gonna say. Plus, last time you did that, it pissed off a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You went all Dominion voting machine on us.
Mm-hmm. Why did she even bother giving me what was left in the popcorn when there's like a handful, if that? Jesus Christ.
It's how she lets you know that she loves you. Not a lot,
Uh-huh.
but just enough not to kill you still.
Yeah, apparently.
Unless you choke on a kernel. That could be her goal. She might want you to choke on a kernel.
Now, Ron Wayne's asking what was for dinner tonight. I had a couple of grilled cheese because my stomach's been bugging me off and on all day.
Oh, yeast infection in your stomach now. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's something else. I gotta get it checked.
Well, if it is a yeast infection in your stomach, don't drink beer.
Well, I don't do that anyway. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've never really been a beer drinker.
I had country style ribs.
I haven't either.
Back in the day, I'd have a bourbon or a scotch every once in a while.
And say I'm a social drinker, like, and even with that, like, I only have a couple, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's why I am. I think I've gotten drunk maybe twice in my life.
One more than me.
Once was at a high school party, and the second time was at a friend's birthday party. both before I turned 21.
Very nice.
Anymore, if I'm drinking something, it's probably gonna be like one or maybe two Mike's Hard Lemonades, and that's about it.
Oh, a girly drink. Nice.
Oh, dude, have you had those? They're awesome.
They're all right.
Have you tried the black cherry? That tastes just like drinking a black cherry soda.
I'm not real big on cherry flavored or cherry artificial flavoring, I guess I should say.
I don't
it also
have
tastes like
a
cough
vagina.
syrup.
Hey, it's better than these freaking hard seltzers that hillbillies going around drinking.
I will give you that. I say before our wrestling gun raffle last year, the night before, we're setting up and everything, and one of the other coaches was like, "John, here." I was like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "It's a White Claw." I was like, "The hell did you get this for?" He's like, "It was free." Because they went and bought so much alcohol at the distributor, they just gave them a case of White Claw, I guess, because that's the only way they can get rid of those things is if they give them away. And I was like, God, it's one. It's kind of rude if you say no, but I felt like it's kind of rude to offer somebody a White Claw. Like I understand some people just like whatever alcohol they can get in their system, like fine, but I'm not one of those people. But I was polite and I took it, and I don't even think I drank half of it. When nobody was looking, I just poured it down the drain. I was like, "This is awful. Oh my God, this is so bad."
Oh, my younger days when I did drink, the wine coolers and Zimas and stuff, those were good as kind of to prime the pump. So before we went out, I would drink like a 4-pack of those just so I didn't spend as much at the bar.
Mm-hmm. No, there was a pizza shop in Pittsburgh. They would take Zima and use it to make Kool-Aid. That was pretty good. Because Zima by itself really didn't have any flavor to it.
Where's Rob right now? I feel like he's got to pop up any minute.
Where's Rob? I don't know. A couple of weeks ago, he wouldn't jump on because he had to download the Rumble app.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, talk about Zima. Like that's his wheelhouse.
Mm. Coop out there just said that he likes White Claw.
Coop's a glutton for punishment.
It's nice to know he's in touch with his feminine side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many women actually like White Claw? And I got a feeling they drink it just because they think it's the in thing to do. Amy tried
Well, that's why
one
people
of those.
drank Zima back in the day.
Well, Zima's actually big over in Japan. They love that shit over there.
So is squid on a
wasabi.
stick.
Yeah.
And mayonnaise on a pizza.
Ew. But anyway, what I was going to say was Amy tried a White Claw or one of those hard seltzers. I forget which one. I think it was a White Claw. And promptly got rid of it. Did not like the flavor of it at all. She's like, what do people see in this crap?
Like I said, the one I had, it was rough. It's supposed to be like a raspberry flavor. Mm-hmm. I didn't taste any raspberry. I just tasted shit.
Tastes like berry flavored cough syrup or worse.
Not even that. I don't even know how to describe it, to tell you the truth. It was just bad.
Misty says she's only drank one, and that was because somebody handed it to her. And Coop says he admits he's been white girl drunk. Don't judge him. Oh no, you're going to be judged for that one. We can't help but judge you for that one.
At least he's woman enough to admit it.
Uh-huh.
What's up, fella?
Did I hear Gary?
Yeah, that's Gary.
Oh, snap.
I must have set my clock back too far.
Uh-oh.
Better I still got jet lag from the time change.
You missed the squirrel chat.
I don't want to talk about that anyway. It's too sad.
Time out. What the hell did I miss with the squirrel?
Oh, you don't know about the New York State seizing Peanut and killing him?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that last night on Hillbilly Show when I was tuned in briefly.
There's all kinds of people pissed off on X about it.
I
Here's the
think
thing, though.
all the squirrels in the world ought to unite and,
Form a squirrel union.
well, just do what squirrels do to a few select people, shall we say. I don't want to get accused of starting a squirrel rebellion or anything like that, or
Are you saying the
instigating a
squirrel?
riot or anything like that.
I feel like you're saying that the squirrels need to start eating people's nuts.
I just think sometimes the squirrels are going to have to start taking matters into their own nuts. You know, that's
I feel like the
Gray
Planet
squirrels
Peanut
have
guy
plenty
better
of
run.
practice from abusing brown squirrels. So, I mean,
You mean red squirrels?
huh?
You mean red squirrels and gray squirrels?
Yeah. The little brown ones, the gray ones tend to want to castrate them, shall we say.
No. Red squirrels castrate the gray squirrels.
Well, whichever way it is.
And red squirrels are little tiny bastards that have like no meat on them, and so nobody kills them or anything because you're really just wasting a shotgun shell because it would be completely full of lead if you did hit it, and like cleaning it and everything. By the time you went through all that effort, there's such little meat on it. It's really not worth it. So people don't kill them. But then when I was like 10th grade biology or something is where I learned that. When red squirrels and because there's a difference between a red squirrel and a fox squirrel, by the way, folks. Fox squirrel are the same size as a gray squirrel. Again, red squirrels are like chipmunk size. That they're just annoying little bastards.
We were looking at some pictures of fox squirrels before you asked for the link when we were talking about squirrels earlier. Some of them fox squirrels are bigger than a gray squirrel.
Oh yeah. Well, so back when I could still hunt and stuff, I was killing fox squirrels, and I looked at my dad the one day. I was like, I think that these fox squirrels are breeding with the gray squirrels. He's like, what? I was like, look at it. I was like, there. I had like three fox squirrel that day, and they all had gray in them. He's like, you're crazy. It was 2 or 3 years later, Penn State released a study saying that fox squirrels and gray squirrels were interbreeding because of the pressure from birds of prey and whatnot had decimated their populations, and they needed to breed still, so they started interbreeding. So now you're getting this hybrid of fox squirrels and gray squirrels. They're actually really pretty looking, but I was like, hold on. They did a study for how many years to figure this out? Like, I just killed a handful and I was able to figure it out.
Oh, one of the pictures of the fox squirrel we looked at looked like a little black bear. You know how black bears have the light colored snout and then the rest of it's all black? That's exactly what this fox squirrel
Well,
looks
let's
like.
say because there's black squirrels.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
African American squirrels.
Squirrel lives matter.
No, they're Haitian
But-
squirrels.
yeah, going back to the New York thing. Oh, but yeah, so when there's a turf war between red squirrels and gray squirrels, the red squirrels will purposely try and chew off the nuts of the gray squirrels so they can't breed, and then they'll just take over the area by numbers. It's really screwed up. So whenever I started seeing red squirrels out in the woods, I shoot them after that because I was like, well, I'm not letting these little bastards take over. I want my gray squirrels and my fox squirrels to be around.
Yeah, Coop says the fox squirrels down where he's at they dwarf the gray squirrels by a lot.
But yeah, that whole thing in New York, like if you're gonna do something illegal, don't record it and put it on the internet.
If they even knew that was illegal, and like we were talking about during the thing, when we were talking about that, the punishment for doing it is a fine anyway.
Mhm.
They sent 10 to 12 officers in to raid these people's home over a ticket.
But they still had to find the animals. I'm not saying like, oh, it's just over a ticket. But they had to find the animals, and then they were probably euthanized because they're like, well, we can't release them. You know, they've been domesticated. They can't fend for themselves. Likewise, it's not like they can just put them out for adoption. Now, they might have been able to find a sanctuary that could have taken
These
them.
people were
But
running a sanctuary. That's the thing. They had a sanctuary. They had 300 other animals that they didn't care about.
then I don't believe for a second that they didn't know the laws regarding that squirrel and raccoon. Like even here in PA, if you're going to have a game animal, you have to have special permitting for it, whether it be a
See,
deer,
here you
fox,
don't.
squirrel, raccoon.
Yeah, you do here too.
Yeah, here you don't.
Were they sex trafficking the squirrel and the raccoon?
Oh my God, they sprayed them with baby oil, I bet.
Oh no. Squirrel and raccoon ditty party.
It was New York, so.
Yeah, definitely was in New York.
Start spreading the
But
news.
their excuse for euthanizing them was they had to test them for rabies.
Well, that's a lame excuse because you test them for rabies, and then if they come back negative, then you don't have to euthanize them.
Well, no, the way you test for rabies is by euthanizing, because what they do is they dissect them and run tests on their brain matter.
I thought they were able to do it with a blood test now. I thought that was the thing of the past, but I very well could be wrong.
You try telling a squirrel to stick their arm out and see how well that works for you. They won't hold still.
And say, you ever skin a squirrel? Like,
Try to get
once
a
you get,
pulse on a squirrel's arm.
well, the real problem is those tiny little blood pressure cuffs. They just keep wanting to chew at them.
Mm-hmm.
And putting a tourniquet on a squirrel's arm would probably be a pain in the ass too.
But it works really well to hold a bandage on in Missouri.
Dental Plus makes great squirrel tourniquet.
Yeah, the problem is getting the squirrel to hold still long enough to put the tourniquet on.
It's not that hard. I mean, all you got to do is be like, "Hey, squirrel, does this smell like chloroform?" Boom, sleep.
Did Rich just say Squirtle?
I think so.
I think he's got Pokemon going on here, man. Pokemon on the brain. Gotta catch them all. I
Yeah,
do.
God, I hate Pokemon.
The only reason Rich hates Pokemon is because he became a Pokemon master, and then he had a interview with Pikachu that was lost on his cell phone.
No, Rich likes Chimpoko, man.
He got He got Pokemon Go elbow. I tell you what, pretty much put him out of commission.
Yeah.
He couldn't catch them all anymore.
I never was into the Pokemon thing. My wife's niece and nephew played that when they were younger on the Game Boy, and then our kids played that shit on the shit. They got it. I think they play it on the Switch and something else that they had, the DS or whatever it was. Amy got a DS, and the kids played on it more than she ever did.
I can honestly say I played Pokemon Go for a while on the phone. Mainly because my daughter was into it, so we'd go out hunting sometimes when I'd go visit and stuff. We knew where all the good spots was to find them.
Pokemon Go was crazy when that was big. People walking out in front of people's cars and shit. Like, pay attention where you're going, people.
We'd be out in a parking lot in the middle of nowhere, and we know good and well there were other people doing the same thing because there were cars being where cars normally wouldn't be. We were all sitting out in a certain spot in the parking lot. It's like,
Amy had somebody walk out in front of her when we were in Pittsburgh the one time, and they were doing something on their phone. Guarantee you, they were probably playing Pokemon Go. Used to have to dodge people through the local mall for the same reason, because they would just be walking around with their phone, like swinging their phone around like they were looking for something. You know what they were doing. It's like, Jesus Christ, people. Play your game, sure, but have a little bit of idea what's going on around you at the same time. Don't focus just solely on your damn phone screen.
gotta hate this new Rumble Studio.
Why?
I had to sneeze a second ago, and it took me half an hour to figure out where the mute button was. It's like that exploded over here.
It's about the same place as it is in StreamYard.
You're the one that uses this all the time.
This is the third time I've used for this show. Fourth time probably all together. And you've been on every one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So you've used it just as much as I have, Gary.
No, I usually miss the first hour, to be fair.
I wasn't counting the minutes. I was counting the times.
It's the time zone difference, that's why.
Coop says he hasn't played a Rumble Studio yet. It's similar to StreamYard, but not quite the same.
It reminds me a lot more of GunTube Chamber.
Nah, because that was more like Hangouts.
No.
Yeah, it was. It was more like being in a hangout with the way the everything worked on that. It's what was the base thing? Jitsi or something like that is what that was called. The base program that Night Strike used for that.
Even he don't use it anymore.
Is GunTube even still around?
I don't know.
I don't either. I was surprised Gunstreamer's still around a couple months ago.
It's barely there.
Mm-hmm.
Their sync stopped working like 5 years ago. Well, YouTube is still out there technically. I'm pretty sure Full 30 just completely disappeared.
I ain't got no emails or anything from them for a while.
And then there's VidMe was pretty cool until Travis broke it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that whole thing from start to finish was under a year. For a while, everybody had a VidMe channel and was putting stuff over there. And then all of a sudden it's like, we're closing, sorry. Back to YouTube, everybody.
Yeah. I'm surprised Rumble's lasted this long.
They need to put a little bit more money into it. I don't know if they got it. That's the problem. I'm hoping maybe Elon comes through and buys a video platform or buys YouTube or something.
He ain't gonna buy YouTube. Ain't no way in hell Google's gonna sell that to him.
Everybody's got their price, Rich. Everybody has their price.
Yeah, I'm not talking about money reasons. I don't think they're gonna sell to him because of political reasons.
Well, if he buys enough shares, that's how it works. Just give it a few months, when President Trump's back in office and everything, and times will change. After we take the trash out this Tuesday, let's put it that way.
Mm.
You're going to take me out, Gary? It's flattering, but I feel like I have to pass.
Don't be such a stick in the mud, man. It's 2024.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Awful close to 2025.
Fine, but I'm not letting you and Rich turn me into a Chinese finger trap. I don't care if it's 2024, 2025, or not.
I thought you were turning Japanese.
I have boundaries.
I
They're gonna
repeat.
spit roast your barbecue.
Gonna turn you into a rotisserie. Good God.
Alrighty then.
You're the one who sent out the links, man. No, don't blame me.
Hershey's like, now I remember why I didn't invite barbecue.
Right.
You didn't expect this to be a boring chat with actual subject matter and shit, did you?
Yeah, we already pretty much ran through the subject matter. Which is what happens on this show. Run out of the subject and then all hell breaks loose.
By the way, can we just get justice for Harambe already? Just because we were talking about the squirrel earlier. Like, I feel like not enough people remember Harambe.
Oh, yes, they do. Because there are people making memes of the squirrel and Harambe up in heaven.
Oh my
What about the
God.
raccoon?
Nobody cares about raccoons.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot about the raccoon as far as the memes and everything.
Like, what the frick?
They even got people doing memes of the squirrel as Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful.
The raccoon's like that guy that died in the car accident with Paul Walker.
I mean, there are some with the raccoon, but nowhere near as many as the squirrel.
So let's see. Oh no, the Seahawks lost today in overtime
In overtime, it was not a good game.
to the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh my, the Lions did beat the Packers. Nice.
Lions are taking that division.
Let's see. Eagles beat Jacksonville. Ooh, Cardinals put it to the Bears today. Man.
Well, I mean, it's the Bears, so.
Sorry, Obi. Let's see. Baltimore beats the Broncos fairly badly. And the Bengals won big at home. And Dallas loses once again on the road to Atlanta. Sorry, Cowboy fans. Chargers traveled to Cleveland and beat the Browns. And the Titans held off the Patriots at home in overtime. Wow. Panthers by 1 point over the Saints.
Yeah, the Panthers actually beat
Holy
someone.
crap.
The Bills beat the Dolphins by 3. And the Commanders go to East Rutherford and beat the Giants. And the Jets over the Texans. Aaron Rodgers keeps rolling. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. In progress right now, Colts and Vikings tied 7-7 in the third quarter. And tomorrow night we have the Chiefs hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's your NFL update. I'm Gizzard Gary.
Do the Steelers have a bye this week?
Yes,
They do.
they're on bye this week. They
Oh, I
play
didn't
the
realize that.
Commanders next week.
No one cares.
Well, apparently, Barbecue does. He asked.
Stairway to 7, baby. Stairway to 7.
Terribly Tactical just went live with a live stream entitled "They Will Kill Your Squirrel." If we're gonna have dead air time, I'm just gonna report the news, folks.
Go ahead.
I can kill dead air. Let's see. Who do the Steelers lose to next week?
They play the Commanders next week.
Oh, yep. On the road too.
Yep, in
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, it's not going to end well. Sorry.
Oh hell,
I
that'll
don't
be
know
like
about
a
that.
home game. That'll be like a home
well,
game,
it's pretty much a home game wherever they go.
Commanders
especially
are
on the
on
East
a roll.
Coast.
The Commanders
Like
are going
just-
to take command of this situation. Yes, they are. That's my prediction.
Did you see when they were in Indy a couple weeks ago? And I mean, that crowd was just as loud for the Steelers as they were India. It's like,
Well, look when they
everybody-
played. Look when they played the Raiders, man. That would
Yeah.
might as well been in Accushore Stadium.
Anybody
Well, I mean-
in Vegas cheering for the Raiders? Let's be real.
no, they're just cheering because they got a
Just
football
a
game.
place for people to go take a cool vacation and watch your team play. Come on, we know that. That's why they're putting teams in Vegas right now. It'll be the same with the A's when they get the stadium built out there.
People can say all they want that the Cowboys are America's team. Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope, Chiefs are America's team. Come on, man.
Say actually, the Steelers were approached about that first, and Dan Rooney said, "Nope, we're not America's team. We're Pittsburgh's team." So then the NFL went to the Cowboys.
Well, it's just for some reason, for years and years and years now, every time there's a national contest, you can bet the Dallas Cowboys are going to be in there. And it's like, what makes you think everybody in the damn United States wants to watch the Dallas Cowboys?
Mhm. Well, look at Thanksgiving. For years until they came up with the night game, it was a Detroit Lions game and a Dallas Cowboys game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we got any interesting games next week other than that one. That one should actually be a good game. Eagles go to Dallas and play the Cowboys. Will the Cowboys be able to pull one out at home? Doubtful.
I don't know, but Washington leads that division this year.
Yes, they do. They're a legit team.
Yeah. They've really turned it around.
I was not joking about that. Yeah, they are truly a legit team.
Yeah. Oh, they are. They're what, 5-2, I think?
The Patriots are going to Chicago to play the Bears. The Bears have a chance to get back on the winning side of things. Bengals and Ravens. Thursday night game. Ooh, that ought to be good. In Baltimore. Be a knockdown drag out. Let's see.
I almost had tickets to that Steelers Commanders game.
Jets Cardinals, who cares? Saints Falcons, again, who cares?
Damn commies.
Yeah, no, we better turn it around. We're losing people.
No.
They're
You don't
not
wanna-
breaking the sports report.
Oh, well, they'd miss the Sunday night game next week between the Lions and the Texans, which should also be a good game. That's in Houston, by the way.
We lost half of our viewership on YouTube.
Well, what, the Waynes leave?
I don't know.
Well, we could talk about porn.
The last comment was 5 years ago when Moo said "Go Lions."
It's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Unless the Rumble Studios just not showing comments like earlier. Nope.
Gonna say there's YouTube.
Looking over at YouTube chat. Nope. Nobody said anything.
Well, if you guys don't like the program, jump in and make it more interesting. That's what I tell people sometimes.
Well, if Rich had the balls to just, pin the link out there for people.
If I had where I could have memberships like Gary, and this was our members chat, okay. I am not doing that in the general show.
Memberships
That doesn't tend
like
to end
Gary.
well.
I did 300 episodes doing
Just-
that.
Go to Amy's purse and get your balls back.
Say you don't need memberships. How do you think you're going to build a following? Sometimes you have to take chances.
One subscriber every 6 months at a time. That's how he's going to build a following.
You're wanting 500 subs. You got to make yourself known out there, man. Got to be known for something.
And then a bunch of people will be like, "Oh, let's go watch this chat. This is the chat where people show their wiener."
Call somebody a son of a bitch.
Yeah, you
I've
son of a
done that
bitch.
before.
Not talking about Kamala Harris. I mean somebody else. Everybody calls her. Did you see the clip from Saturday Night Live? Yeah, now NBC is being investigated by the head of the FCC, who says they may have violated election laws by doing that.
Yep. Their fair use law.
Yep. You're going to slap a $10,000 fine probably on NBC.
Because this close to the election, they are not allowed to have only one candidate. They would have to have both.
To be fair, there were probably only 1,000 people watching SNL at the time, but probably way
SNL
more people
sucks.
watched the clip on YouTube afterwards. But
YouTube or X or some other sort. Yeah.
You said 10,000 though.
I was being, I was being nice.
Oh, okay. No. I thought it was like
I'm
when you said
counting
it was
people watching the
$10,000.
clip 10 times. So,
No. I thought when you said it was $10,000 for the fine.
oh well.
I'm gonna say like, oh yeah, like
What are they
that's
gonna
how they're
really?
deter
What are
them.
they gonna do to NBC other than fine them? I mean, they can't make it right. There's no way.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if I was NBC and you're like, hold on, you're just giving me a $10,000 fine for this. I'm gonna do this like 100 more times just because I can.
Well, we'll let Donald Trump do a comedy bit. Guess what? Donald Trump already did this comedy bit. That's where they stole it from in the first place. Secondly, what are you going to put Trump on that NBC has that anybody watches during the week? You're not.
Lost.
It would have to be something on Monday.
Monday Night Raw.
Well, now who?
Well, he's on the news every night when they call him a Nazi.
Mhm.
It's true.
That's bullshit.
What is?
What they did. It's bullshit. It's pure
Mhm.
and overt meddling in the election process. There's no other way to look at it.
I
They
didn't
don't
see it.
even care. It's like they're thumbing their nose and say, "We'll do what we want. You won't
Well,
stop
remember,
us."
these are the same people that say that we need to tone down the vitriol and everything, and then in the next breath they're calling Trump Hitler. It's like, Jesus Christ, are these people that incognizant of what the hell they're doing, or is it intentional?
Well, that's only fair though, because Donald Trump said that Liz Cheney needed to go in front of a firing squad, right?
Yeah, except that's not what he said.
It's not. Gee, what?
Oh,
How about that? Who knew that? Everybody who actually knew the facts.
Mhm. Basically, what he said was that she wouldn't want all these wars if she actually had to go and fight them. And all of a sudden, the media turns that into
I was
Donald
gonna
Trump said
say
she
I
needs to
saw
put in
the
front of firing
original
squad.
clip, and I'm thinking, when is the left gonna make something out of this? Well, there they are. Oh no, he wants them executed. Yeah,
Yeah. He wants to put her in firing front.
that's so mean. Yeah, we could make it fair. We could give her Dick Cheney, let him have a shotgun.
Well, Dick Cheney raised her, so
Mm-hmm.
she
Then
somehow
you could
survived.
let her have Joe Biden too. Then there'd be all kinds of shotguns. Buy a
Mhm.
shotgun. Fire 2 blasts up in the air.
Oh, don't forget the vice presidential candidate who can't load a shotgun.
Oh yeah. Well, we could have all kinds of Elmer Fudd going on, couldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well,
Coop's
we know
still out
Elmer
there.
could load the thing. And he hit Daffy Duck with it enough times, it just never killed him.
Yeah, just make his beak look like Swiss cheese or
Uh-huh.
bill. Maybe spin it around the back of his head or something, but that's about it.
Flip it over, where he had to.
I always liked when Daffy would talk out of the back of his head and say, "You're despicable."
Elmer'd go after Bugs Bunny too, so he would have shot the squirrel. He for sure would have, or tried.
Oh, he can never hit Bugs. He can only hit Daffy.
Bugs was too smart for that shit.
Well, Bugs would just put his fingers in the barrels, and then the gun would blow up.
That really
And-
works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt Elmer.
I saw it on Mythbusters. It's not real good on fingers, but
No.
No. And you got to make like a really good seal.
Why do you think Bugs wore gloves?
so now they're shooting
No
seals
fingerprint?
too. Is that what you're telling me?
No
Oh
fingerprints, and you
man,
better seal that barrel.
You don't
They-
shoot a seal, you club a seal.
Yeah.
so there's a
Curly
club.
baby one.
So there's a club where they shoot seals.
Baby seals.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a Mickey Mouse Club, except it's more of a shoot the seals club.
Is that the same one that Alex Jones says that they eat babies wrapped in gold foil?
You got me there.
I thought it was the Skull and Bone Club.
No, you never saw the clip where Alex Jones says he's outside this Democrat members only club and they're eating babies wrapped in gold foil?
No.
All I know is they're putting stuff in the water and making the frogs gay.
Mm-hmm. There's stuff in the water making the freaking frogs gay. How do you know, Alex?
Oh, it's
No.
entirely possible.
Well, there are certain frogs that can change gender depending on which one's needed. And there's certain fish that do it too.
Certain humans that do it too.
Well, they think they can anyway.
Except it
The
doesn't
frogs and
exactly
fish
work
actually
that
can.
way. Humans just change their appearance and.
Mm-hmm. They play dress up.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Alex is so crazy. He look goofy, perhaps, but just because you come across as goofy doesn't mean you're wrong necessarily. See, you need to go full out with these chats, Rich. We need to start talking about flat Earth, UFOs.
Dinosaurs are fake.
Dinosaurs
That
are
one.
dragons.
No, dinosaurs are fake. That one is for Black Cat.
Well, the latest thing on the internet is how dinosaurs are dragons.
I don't know if dinosaurs are dragons. I feel like dragons would be dinosaurs.
Yeah, but that's not the way they're wording it. They're wording it the other way around.
I don't like
Well,
that.
No, it's crazy because if you read what these people are saying, they should be writing it the way you said, but they're writing it the wrong way.
It's like saying that a square is a rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is.
It is.
But
It's
then
when it's been
they'd
on
be
the rack.
saying, but they'd be saying that a rectangle is a square.
Birds are not real.
And that's wrong.
True.
Yeah, they're both wrong. Rectangle's a parallelogram. That's the word. Similarity. They're both dual parallelograms, actually, because they both have.
And that's why a square is a rectangle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, square is a short rectangle. And a rectangle is a square that's been placed on the rack.
Oh man, can you imagine if they brought that back?
What, the rack?
Yeah.
The
I
Iron,
don't think the Constitution would allow it.
the Iron Maiden. Ooh.
Iron Maiden was pretty sweet too.
Mm-hmm. The Iranians stole my execution idea. You know, automated hanging machine. Save money. Clear out death row real quick. The Iranians stole it and actually have implemented it.
Could always bring back crucifixions.
Oh, yeah, I don't think the Constitution would allow that either. They'd have a Eighth Amendment fight on their hands with that one.
I feel like the Constitution doesn't allow any of these gun laws, but somehow they exist.
Separation
Mhm.
of church and state. Yeah, that.
Just
Which
because
isn't even
one
in the
person in the Bible was crucified doesn't mean
He wasn't
that.
crucified by himself. There's 3 people on that hill.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it was just a way to kill him.
And separation of church and state doesn't even come from the Constitution. That comes from a letter written by Thomas Jefferson who had nothing to do with the Constitution's writing or the amendments.
It's just because Jefferson was moving on up.
To the
To the
east
east
side.
side.
Deluxe apartment in the sky.
That's right.
Mhm.
On a
Time
satellite.
for the kitchen.
You think he had a neighbor named Bentley that wanted him to walk on his back too? Or when Thomas Jefferson told him to pound sand because he was a Brit?
Thomas Jefferson respected all races. Very
Well, Thomas
much
Jefferson
so.
hated Muslims, but they think because he had a Quran that he was a supporter of Islam. No, he had that Quran because he wanted to better understand the enemy.
I'll say I have a Book of Mormon, but I'm not a Mormon. Believe it or not, it was given to me for free. I felt honored. I mean, who
They give
who would
that to
who
everybody
would
here.
get a free free Book of Mormon?
They give that to everybody.
It's kind of like the times I've been lucky and went to a hotel and there was a Gideon's Bible there.
But Gideon checked out, and he left there no doubt of good Rockies revival.
Yeah. Daniel was hot and he turned first and shot. And Daniel collapsed in the corner. Rocky collapsed in the corner.
Fact, in fact, I picked up the Gideon's Bible and opened it at page 1.
Wrong song, Gary.
There's no way to slow down after that, I tell you.
Yeah. Gary's mixing Rocky Raccoon and locomotive breath here.
Don't diss Jethro Tull, man. Jethro Tull is alive.
Jethro Tull beat Metallica for best heavy metal album.
That's what I'm saying. That talent
still
is just
one of
not
the most
appreciated.
fucked up things ever at the Grammys.
I've never went into a hotel room that had a Quran in the drawer.
Never been to a tattoo room or what?
Said I've never been in a hotel room and had a Quran in the drawer.
Yeah, you've never been to Saudi Arabia either.
Or a copy of the Talmud or something like that. Of course, you need a pretty big drawer to hold all that. But
The Quran ain't that big. It's just they just write really big. We had to read the freaking thing when I was in school, so we understood.
Really?
Kind of like Thomas Jefferson.
Really? That's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it was part of the curriculum because I was taking classes on, in opposition to Islamic terrorism. So they wanted us to understand where they were getting their ideas from.
We can't tell people about Christianity in schools, but by God, we can have them. We can have them, learn about Islam. That makes total
this was
sense.
in college. This was when I was in college. It was part of the curriculum, and I was going to a Christian college.
Okay, so you learned about Islam in a Christian college?
Well, yeah, so we knew how to combat Islam. To understand your enemy, you got to read their history and text.
So did you research the occult and stuff like that so you could learn how to combat, Satan and stuff like that?
Well, I wasn't taking
The black
classes
arts?
I wasn't taking classes on how to beat witches.
No, he was taking classes on how to beat off warlocks.
Yeah, no, not that either.
See, I've livened up this chat a little bit. I got you in all kinds of trouble already. Let's just keep going. Maybe we'll get 2 or 3 people watching this. We'll get you some subs.
Yeah, we've gained 3 more on YouTube. We lost 4, gained 3.
That's the way it works.
Uh-huh.
Do you know if you give stuff away, I hear, but that'll get you subs too.
That doesn't seem to be working.
Are you giving anything away?
If we hit 500 subs, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you got to
see,
do it in the lead up to.
you're holding that carrot and stick out in front of people, and they're like, screw this. You ain't
No, I
giving
did not go to
nothing away."
Hogwarts, Ron. I went to Liberty University.
Now, Jerry Falwell,
Yeah.
might as well go to Oral Roberts next and get your doctorate.
No, we actually had fully accredited professors and stuff.
Or you could go to BYU if you wanted to be really ecumenical.
Yeah, go to the Mormon school.
Or you
The
could
Mormons and the Muslims are in competition to see who have the biggest false prophet.
tone it down a little bit and just go to something simple like TCU or something like that. Or Notre Dame. Why not Notre Dame?
Out of high school, if I wouldn't have quit high school to go to work, I would have had a scholarship for Notre Dame, actually. Notre Dame wanted me for the hockey team, but that didn't come to fruition.
Think instead of Rudy, we could be watching the movie Rich, but no. Everybody could be chanting Richie, Richie.
Richie.
My last name isn't Cunningham. Thank you very much.
It was Rich's dream. A poor kid from Pittsburgh going to the big university with a dream of being a star on the hockey team.
Oh, it was either Notre Dame or Army.
He didn't want to work in those mills in Pittsburgh.
Shit, what mills in Pittsburgh at that point? There's maybe
There's
one
still a
that's still
couple.
in operation.
So Rich was a welder that dreamed to be a dancer.
No. Flashdance was not my life story.
What a feeling.
But the traffic cop that they show in the movies was actually a real traffic cop in downtown Pittsburgh.
I've never seen the movie.
Of course, Rich has. He's probably
Oh,
in
yeah.
it.
I've
He
seen the
beats out
movie
there.
because my stepfather and mother had to watch it all the time when it first came out. I was like, God, I'm tired of this movie.
So you were into that, but you never got into Vanilla Ice. I see.
I did not watch Flashdance because I wanted to.
So
I watched it because my parents had it on the TV. Like, you kids need to watch this. This was filmed here in Pittsburgh. It's about a Pittsburgh girl. And they're like, I don't give a shit. I don't want to watch that crap. You're going to sit and you're going to watch it anyway.
Rich says,
It's an R-rated movie. I'm not old enough to watch it.
Rich says, I'll sit here, but I'm not going to like it.
Damn right.
Girly man.
Should have taken a stand right then and there. Just
Yeah,
sat there, closed your
I
eyes.
tried using the I'm underage and I still had to watch it. That was an R-rated movie. I was like, God, what came out? What year did that come out? 81, 82, somewhere around there, 83, somewhere around that area.
And you could have watched something cool like Spinal Tap or something like that. Or
I had no problem. I would have had no problem watching that. Or Terminator. I watched Terminator when it came out.
Moose says Rich starred in Flashdance. Oh, wow.
And no.
Ozzy says White Ice Baby. There. I've
I don't
heard
want to
that.
know that.
I've heard that about you, that you were as cold as ice,
It's a great song.
willing to sacrifice your love.
So now we're doing Foreigner.
You know, you want paradise. Well, someday you'll pay the price. I know.
Anybody feel like
Stay by the dashboard lights, but you know.
you could see Rich with a feather earring back in the day?
They don't have pierced ears, so never did.
That's real easily taken care of.
I could definitely see Rich doing it with a clip on. That makes it even better.
Left ear, right ear.
Whichever one makes him gay.
All I remember is one of the ears is Cavalier and the other one's not.
Oh, anymore got guys wearing earrings in both ears.
Well, you're lucky if they don't have rings in their nose.
Or eyebrows or lip or other places that are unmentionables.
Wow,
Their
Rich,
lips
going there.
or get their cheek pierced. Yeah. Not that cheek.
There was an episode of the one Pawn Show, not Pawn Stars, but the one that was on True TV. I can't remember the name of.
The one in Detroit.
Porn
Yeah, the one
stars?
in Detroit where
Oh.
somebody brought in one of the unmentionable piercings and thought they were going to pawn it. Yes, like, get that out of my store.
So when I worked corrections, we got in a new commit, and I walked into booking at the wrong time, and low man on totem pole, like, "Hey, rookie, come here," and I already knew, like, fuck. I walked in here at the wrong time. They're like, "You on break?" I was like, "Just headed there." They're like, "Oh, well, we'll let so and so know that you're gonna burn them. You gotta do a strip search first." It's like, fuck. So go in and do the strip search, and go through the whole process. And this guy has a metal rod in his urethra. I'm like, yeah, whatever that is, that's gonna have to come out. I don't know if it does. I was like, well, if you can't remove it, they'll take you to the hospital and have a doctor remove it at your expense. So, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, I'm just letting you know that's gonna have to come out. And I just walked out. Technically, I probably should not have walked out until it was removed, or stuck my head out like, hey, need somebody else in here, because of this situation. But I just walked out. I was like, yeah, so he's gonna take his intake shower now. He has some sort of piercing in his dick hole that he should be coming out with, and one of the other officers who he's a sick son of a bitch. There's just no way to describe him nice. Like, he was just gross, and he's like, "Oh, he has a Prince Albert." I was like, "Why the fuck do you know what that is?"
So when I was still working IT support, occasionally we would have walk-ups. People just walk over from another office and ask a question. And, sometimes we just show them on our computer how to do stuff. And this one gal named Stacy, she come over and was asking questions. So she spent about 5 minutes in my cube and she left. No big deal, right? Well, about 30 minutes later, I was scooting my chair around and I saw this piece of jewelry on the floor. And I picked it up and looked at it, and it was a pointed stud piece of jewelry, and And so I put it on the corner of my desk, and I thought for the longest time, where did this come from? You know. And I thought, it's like, oh, Stacy was here. So finally, I sent her a message. I said, "Did you happen to lose a piece of jewelry while you were in my cube? It's because I found something on the floor after you were here." And she come back over later, and she picked it up. She said, "Yeah, it was my belly button piercing. It fell out of my shirt." She was interesting.
Moose says the Detroit one was hardcore pawn. You're going to say she had somewhere else pierced and it fell out.
I wouldn't want to know if that was the case.
Like, how nasty is that thing if the piercing's running away? Holy shit.
Uh-huh. Ron 2A Matters is that there in the chat.
He
Ian,
is. Ozzy
Oh,
said he's
snap.
got his left ear is pierced.
Okay, so it's the right one that would have meant that Rich sucks dick.
I just don't. There ain't no way I would sit in a chair and let somebody poke a hole in my ear. I'm sorry that. I'm not that into pain. I don't care where you wear your jewelry or anything else. Just the idea of letting somebody punch holes in you is like, no, thank you.
yeah, my brother and I wanted to get our ear pierced when we were younger. Our stepfather and mother were like, "No, you can't do that." Blah, 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 blah. As soon as my stepfather turned 40, he got his done. It was like, you hypocritical son of a bitch.
If it's just a simple ear piercing, I mean, it's not like they don't heal up anyway. If you just stop wearing the jewelry, they'll heal pretty quickly. Ozzy said it doesn't hurt. Yeah. I was in with my granddaughter when she got hers pierced, and but she was like 2 or 3 years old at the time, and trust me, it hurt.
I'm gonna say, what was she, like 3 or something? And
yeah,
so
she cried like a baby when that happened.
I had a very strict rule, and I was very mad when my children's mother went against me on this because she needed her ears pierced. I was like, no. I said when she was old enough to say, I want my ears pierced, then we say fine.
I was against this. It was my daughter's idea, and she had the child's mother agree to it, but it's like, that's too cruel to put a child through something like that at that age. Oh no, it'll be cute. I don't even like IVs be started in me.
Oh God, I can't stand having an IV put in.
I have gotten to the point where I've had to have so many blood tests over the last couple of years where it's like I'll just stick my arm out there and say, here. But that doesn't hurt anymore.
What's annoying is each phlebotomist has a gauge of needle that they like using. Sometimes you get the ones where they'll use that real thin needle you barely feel anything. Then you have other people that want to use that fucking horse needle on you.
Just say it has nothing to do with the gauge of the needle. It's everything to do with the phlebotomist.
Yeah.
A lot of phlebotomists now will use butterflies. Like, that's all they use, which they're not supposed to. And I've had phlebotomists sitting with a butterfly, which is like the thinnest needle you can get. And I'm like, what the fuck did you just do to me? And, I've donated blood where the person's so good, you don't even notice that they stuck you with the fucking, whatever gauge needle that is.
Oh yeah, last 3 times I've went in to have blood work done, whatever they're using, I don't feel. They said, well, it's going to be a little bit of a pinch. I'm like, oh, you already started.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got this Indian lady that works at the clinic we go to for our general practitioner. And when she sticks in, you don't even know she did it. Until,
Mhm.
if you're not looking, you don't know.
I usually don't like to look. Like,
Uh,
surprise
I-
me.
So my mother's been a phlebotomist for, oh shit, like 25 years now, something like that. So, like, especially if I have to go get blood work done, like, I'll usually have one of her coworkers draw me. Not that my mom can't draw or anything, but anymore she's usually doing the computer work. And every single time, as soon as they stick me, I'll scream, and then they jump. With only one time this backfired on me because they like jammed the needle into my arm because I scared them so bad. But then I'll just be like, I'm just messing with you. They're like, God damn it, it's not funny. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, you really shouldn't do stuff like that when people are jamming needles into your arm.
Do that to me enough times and I'm going to make it hurt.
Heard a story from when I was working at the shipyard. A guy that used to be in the Navy, that they were doing something, blood draws or whatever, and one of the guys in line before him was being a jerk to the nurse. So she took the needle, dropped it into the table, and then pulled it out of the table and then took his blood. Because that'll create a barb on the end of the needle.
On one hand, I feel like, yep, he deserved it. On the other hand, like, it's no longer sterile or anything. It seems a little fucked up still.
That's a
Like,
lot.
there's better ways. Like, you could just take the needle and jam it into a nerve. That works too.
Well, I went to basic training. We were going through the shot line. Guy a couple of spots ahead of me gets the shot and promptly falls over like a tree with his head landing in the garbage can.
Yeah, that happened. We were doing physicals for the shipyard when I got hired. And one of the guys, as soon as he saw the needle, it was one of those seats that has the little armrest that sticks out in front of you. But he fainted, hit the edge of that armrest, cut him open, was laying on the floor.
Yeah.
Man, where I go to give blood, they have this huge chair you have to sit in. It looks kind of like like you're in Blue's Clues or something like that. Great big old oversized chair. And it's got the little, it's kind of like the old school chairs, have the part that goes out in front of you that kind of swings down so they can swing either the left arm or right arm down. And it's just comical to have to sit in that chair. I guess they got to make it big enough to accommodate anybody, but I swear, most couples could probably get in this chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we were going through the shot line for the shots, you were standing up and you just walked to the next station. When you got to where they were drawing blood, you had to sit down for that.
I still remember in grade school where we had to get our shots like for measles and smallpox and stuff like that. Yeah, you just stood up, the school nurse would just jab you. We didn't get no fancy colored band-aids with Rugrats or anything on there either. We was tough.
We didn't get shots in school.
Yeah, but
We had be taken.
Gary
to the
had to
doctor.
worry about polio.
Well, they did polio shots back then.
Yeah.
They sure did.
By the time I was born, polio vaccine was a little drink that you'd
Yeah,
drink.
it hadn't been around that long. Because the generation before me, yeah, that was a thing. So
Gary also had to worry about Spanish influenza.
Well,
not
he had-
quite. I had to worry about the communists taking over the school, though, and stuff like.
Well, they sure did a good job of that.
Well, I mean, they were right to worry because they were coming.
No, they did
Just
it.
took them a while to get there.
Yeah. Well, Khrushchev didn't say how long it was going to take.
I mean, McCarthy wasn't wrong necessarily. He was
McCarthy
just
was not
before his
wrong.
time.
A lot of the people that he outed in Hollywood were communists. People forget the ones that McCarthy was right about.
Yeah, but it's not illegal to be a communist.
No, nobody said it was illegal. Just that
The
he
good
was
old
just-
days when people in Hollywood were communists and not pedophiles.
No, they were probably both.
And say, don't fool yourself. They've been around for a while. It just didn't become popular until lately.
Nobody spoke up back then.
I can remember the days if you had a fetish on young children, you were actually considered abnormal. You didn't get fancy names like they get now.
You'd be locked up in an asylum.
What was the shot that left a scar on the upper arm?
That
was
was the
mumps.
polio shot. Polio
Yeah,
shot
it
would
was,
do that.
it was mumps.
I got that shot.
I've got the scar.
Yep, me too.
My mother's got the polio
And I
shots.
still
Would do.
got
They could,
bumps too.
polio shots would do that too. The one that the scar my mother has on her arm is from polio shot.
Yeah, mine's about the size of a $50.
Oh, mine ain't that big.
My dad has that scar.
I'd like to have a scar.
The
Chicks
one
dig scars.
the scar my mother has, no joke, it looks like the chrysanthemum that they stamped into the Japanese rifles during World War II.
Maybe it was.
Is your mother Japanese?
Maybe she's turning Japanese.
I really think so.
You really think so? Let's be real. Rich doesn't know that song. He doesn't even know Ice Ice Baby.
Oh, no, I know what song you guys
Oh, he
were
knows Go
referencing.
Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
It's like greatest song ever.
Shit, my brothers had to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What was that? The second one, so many damn times.
Oh no, they say he's got to go. He knows that song. My God.
Godzilla.
I'm trying to find my scar. I don't know if I can still see it or not.
Go, Godzilla.
Thought it was on my right arm here. Probably just not looking in the right place. Moo ought to get in here. He could tell us some stories.
I think Moo has a link.
I want Moo to come in here and tell me how to make a brisket.
First, you need to soak it in beer.
Well, Moo has to not set his smoker on fire first.
Why the fuck?
What?
Huh?
What happened?
I don't know.
Fucking cat. That's what happened.
Oh.
Get the fuck out of here, you little fucking shithead motherfucker.
Oh,
Go.
Cat
Go.
was a bad kitty.
bad kitty.
Shit face. God
Wow.
damn him. Just knocked a bunch of fucking papers down.
Well, you pissed him off somehow. Cats will hold a grudge. They will get even.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna get it all right.
Don't piss off a
Cats are
cat.
vindictive.
Mm-hmm. I love my cat, but you don't want to piss him off.
Not there, outside.
Ozzy says his scar is about the size of a nickel. It's about how big one my mother and my stepfather both had. Theirs was about the size of a nickel.
But not a nickel back.
No, no. No, it didn't look like a Canadian hard rock band.
When this is how you remind me.
Of who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you're looking at photographs?
Mm-hmm.
You mean of what I really am?
All right. Well, this chat got too gay for me, so I'm gonna
Wow.
So you guys have a good night.
Anything you want to plug before you leave, Foss?
Yeah, I'm gonna go plug her right now. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Nice.
Oh,
Well, congratulations.
Foss is going to be turning a little Japanese.
I don't
Doubtful.
think it's sexually transmitted.
No.
Ouch.
Now, a little while ago, Run to a Matter says what really hurts is when they pull two tubes out of your chest. He said he had open heart surgery. Well, hopefully you're doing better.
Well, I hope they closed it up.
I've had tubes put into something else, and I can attest to the fact that hurts like a son of a bitch.
They double penetrated you?
They did.
Or color?
Everybody's being quiet in the YouTube chat again.
They're falling asleep. You have to jazz stuff up.
And nobody said anything ever on the Rumble side. I don't know if anybody's saying anything on the X side because it doesn't show up here.
Well, you did let this get pretty gay.
That's because I let you on the panel.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's all
I did
your
not
fault.
start thinking Nickelback.
It's all your fault.
Let me go over to X and see what's being said.
Yeah, the only thing that's been said over on X is when I said about the chat setting. Apparently, it's set to where only verified people can chat, which I didn't do. So I don't know if that does that by default or what.
Probably because you didn't pay the extra. I'm
You got to
verified.
pay to be able to let people talk. It's kind of messed up. Yeah, Ron says that was about a year ago that he had the open heart surgery.
Now, was this like Dragonheart, where they gave you part of Mini Wayne's heart? Now, if Mini Wayne dies, you die?
Wrong Ron.
Like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it's Ron 2A Matters, not Ron Wayne.
Oh, my bad.
To do Ron.
To do Ron, to do Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I proved that the chat does work over on X.
Why did you say something over there?
Mm-hmm. I'm the only one.
I did too.
I don't see it.
It's, yeah, I've typed in sorry about the chat setting
Where'd you type it?
in the X chat.
I don't see it.
Wonder if you can't see the chat if you weren't there when it was typed. I'd give you a timestamp, but they don't have a timestamp. But that was early on when we first started doing this at some point. Foss and I were the only ones in here.
Oh, shit.
But Elon needs to fix that to where you can see the chat in the studio that you're doing the chat from. Because X is on the list, but it doesn't work. And we got the private chat now. Heck, we can actually type from inside the studio now.
Somebody I know just got accepted into the Amazon Vine program. Wow.
Whoa.
Well,
Wasn't
thank
me.
News.
Congratulations, anonymous person who shall go unnamed.
Wish I could get accepted into the Amazon Prime program.
Amazon
Amazon
Vine.
Prime's easy. You just got to pay.
Yeah, you just got paid for Prime.
No, I said Vine.
You got to do
said Prime.
reviews.
I
Do
used
ton-
to, and they still wouldn't
You just
do
got
it. And I'm just
to
like,
do tons and tons and tons of reviews. Eventually, it'll pop up.
I don't know if I've ever written an Amazon review.
If they accepted the likes of me, they'll accept anybody. So, but this person's been waiting a long, long time. So
I feel like it's Obi.
I'm not
It's got to
saying.
be. Yeah.
Meow.
Meow, 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 meow,
Meow.
We started with squirrels and now we're on cats.
Nobody knows how to make squirrel noises. Let's be real.
They bark.
They bark and make chittering noises.
Yeah, but nobody can imitate that. But anybody can meow. There's a little kitty cat meowing and meow, meow, meow. And there's meow,
Meow, meow.
meow. Or sometimes George will get these real loud ones going on. Meow.
Uh-huh.
Especially right after he's used the litter box and he's in jet cat mode.
Zoomies. One-
He comes running here, he'll look up at me and give me a big meow and then turn around real quick and run off in the other room. It's like, oh, great.
I like
Whenever-
the
I'm off now.
cat sounds that sound like, and then you see white people on True TV, and they're like, "Oh, what's that in the bushes?"
It's Marlon Perkins, of course.
Mhm. Whenever our youngest daughter comes over, the puppy gets zoomies and she starts running laps through the door from the living room and back through the door into the dining room. It's an open floor plan. And then she goes running around the love seat and then just keeps doing it. She keeps running laps. It's like, what the hell? I've never seen a dog run laps like that because somebody came in the front door.
I always love when you got cats and a dumb dog comes running in, going around sniffing things, and they want to play with the cat. The cat's laying there trying to take a nap, and the cat just gets up, slaps the dog shit out of the dog. The dog's like, "Whoa, I'm just trying to be friendly here." Cat don't want nothing of it. It's like, get out of here.
When we had our cat Augie years ago, my mother-in-law had just got a puppy, and he was laying on the computer chair sleeping, and the puppy went up and started sniffing him and barked at him. All you heard was real loud slap, like somebody had slapped somebody else, not like a cat whacking a dog. And then the puppy goes running and yipping, yip, 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 yip. He slapped the fuck out of that puppy.
It's like if anybody's ever had a declawed cat, you still think they can't inflict pain. Yeah, they can still bop the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a boxer.
No, he wasn't declawed, so the puppy was extremely lucky he didn't put his claws out too, because he probably would have tore into her pretty good. How hard has he hit her?
But yeah, cats are the boxers of the animal world, right up there with kangaroos. I tell you what. I see Ozzy's barking out there.
Remember, they say that the house cat, is the strongest pound for pound land animal on the planet. Their muscle structure. If they were the size of a cougar, they'd be able to rip the head off a grizzly bear.
If your cat is not terribly friendly, just take your hand and real firmly grasp their belly and hold on for a while and see what happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will grab a hold of you with all four paws. They will not let go, and you will be extremely sorry you did this.
Mm-hmm. If they're really ticked off, not only will they hold your hand in place, you'll have little claw holes in your hand too.
Mm-hmm. When they're kittens, they'll just jump right up into your chest too. They'll do this attack maneuver where they'll wait on the other side of a couch, and then you come walking by, and they'll jump right about to waist level and latch onto you.
When we were living down her grandmother's old house, we had this gray cat named Ash, and he had gotten hurt. And I was checking on him to see if we needed to take him to the vet or not. I must have hit the wrong spot. He jumped and he dislocated my thumb in the process.
Yeah,
Why'd you hit him in the first place?
No, I didn't. He fell down the stairs or something. I forget what it was.
if you want to see how strong a cat is, try to put a shirt on a cat. And my cat's fairly friendly and, real gentle to me and everything else. But my daughter bought this little, like a dog shirt or something, said, take it home and put it on George's. George is like, the hell you are.
Mm-hmm. When we had the Siamese, he liked having like that kind of stuff put on him. He wouldn't fight.
After about a minute and a half, it's like, I give up. You're not wearing the shirt. I get it. It's going in the trash.
I've never understood why people put their animals in clothes like that. I get, like, there's some that are like, I really enjoy this, and those are weird animals, and you should probably have them euthanized because there's something wrong with them.
Oh, Sarah is a cat
That's right.
whisperer in that
I
respect.
said it. I don't care.
She used to dress her cats up for Halloween. She'd put these little costumes on them. It's like, I can't get them to do that.
But like a lot of these animals, you'll see them get stuck in these clothes, and like they're just you'll see the photos of them, and they're slouched and their heads down, and they just look so depressed. I'm like, why do that to your animal? But he looks
Yeah, if
so
the
cute.
animal
Yeah, but he
doesn't
also
like
looks
it,
so depressed. Like if that dog had access to a rope right now, you would not want to know what it's going to do.
yeah, if you got an animal that doesn't like having clothes put on it, don't put clothes on it. And just because you think it looks cute. Like the puppy, we got her a couple different shirts because she has that real short fur for when it gets cold. I mean, her belly doesn't have any fur on really at all. And so we got her a shirt and a jacket for when it gets cold. She likes having them put on. She gets all excited when you put her shirt on her and stuff because she knows she's going outside and whatnot. The Siamese, mainly what he got put on was a harness that looked like almost like a life jacket. You know, the vest style life jackets. Because Amy would actually take him outside on a leash. He would walk along with her like he was a dog. But then we have other cats that don't like having that put on them at all, and say, okay, so we're not going to put that on you. But you get people that, like you were saying, barbecue, you can tell the animal is not happy having that on, and people still put it on them because they think it looks cute. Well, the dog or cat obviously doesn't appreciate that being on them. Don't do it.
Yeah. Like if you're risking getting stitches, putting it on them, like
Yes.
Huh? What?
Huh?
I don't know. Gary
Oh.
said, yeah.
I know.
Well, I thought you had more to say and you just got cut off. But
I know.
Oh
So
no,
I was waiting for two to see
just
if he
the
said something
frustration
else.
of it.
it's like, don't keep us in suspense, man.
It was like, is this a Frank Sinatra moment from the Grammys?
Yes.
I actually thought his mic cut out for a minute.
Well, that's what happened to Frank. He was giving his speech, and they were telling him he had to rap because he had to go to commercial. So he's still giving this speech, and they cut him off.
I see our good friend Nancy Pelosi's in the news again today.
What else is new? What her
She was-
dumbass do this time?
Oh, she was on what? On MSNBC, and they were doing an interview with her about, and she was starting to claim that Trump was the one who's in cognitive decline, but she stutters her words for about 5 seconds before she could even say what
That's because she was drunk.
Evidently, she was drunk this morning. So, breaking
They've
news.
been trying to say that Trump's in cognitive decline. It's like they are such projectionists.
Gee,
Seriously.
MSNBC leaning left. Who'd have thunk it? Come on.
Yeah. They probably still haven't given her a standing ovation.
And these people are still claiming that Fox News is a right wing propaganda. It's like, have they watched Fox News lately?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, go ahead and shut them down because we don't like them either.
I saw this thing where apparently New York Times released an article, I think it was today or yesterday, something like that, where they're talking about polling, and they're like, oh yeah, it could be off by as much as 16%. They're estimating that, Republican people that were asked to reply to polls, about 16% of them don't reply. And they're like, yeah, so this could actually be kind of a bad thing on Tuesday because, with the way the polls are right now, Trump's slightly ahead in like all the swing states. And they're like, if that's the case, that 16% of these people still aren't replying. Which, if I remember correctly, essentially, when they're like, "Oh, this politician has a 1 point lead," or 2 point, like each point is just a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So really, they're like, yeah, like Trump could actually have more like a 16% lead in the polls at the moment.
I don't respond to phone polls. That's for damn sure.
Nope.
Well,
You
it's not
can
just that.
find out my opinion in 2 days.
Yeah, it's not just that either, because this has been shown numerous times that they overwhelmingly poll Democrats over Republicans when they do their polls anyway. So if they're
Well,
still saying that there could be a 16-point swing, that means that some Democrats must have been saying that they're going to vote for Trump.
I mean, what user base is MSNBC going to pull from? Let's be real.
Well,
This is
NBC, period.
So,
Yeah.
but
Or New York Times.
MSNBC is just NBC light.
honestly, I don't give a whole lot of credence to polls in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are
Well,
far too easy to skew and cherry pick where you want to get your data from.
Now, I have a lot of respect for Poland. I don't really want to say anything bad about Poles per se.
The polls are the workers.
Polish
Gary.
people are getting a bad name here.
Mm-hmm.
Easy Warsaw.
The best one that I saw today was where they said Texas is going to vote for Harris.
Shit.
I
Austin,
Harris
don't
had like a
maybe,
5-point
but-
lead in Texas, according to this poll. It's like,
Austin and maybe
yeah.
Dallas. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say I don't see that happening yet, but give it another couple election cycles, and who the hell knows what could happen. I mean, Texas used to be red, and it's
Well, Texas has
pretty
been blue in
purple
the past.
anymore.
I mean, they've had Democratic
yeah, I mean-
governors and whatnot.
Every state, has their times where they change colors technically, but if you just look at the overall of Texas right now, it's very purple. It's very blended at this point because of all the
The California
transplants
relocators.
that they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all concentrated in the big cities. So if you just get these
Mhm.
country folks out to vote, and Texas is one hell of a big state. So there's a hell of a lot of people living in those outlying counties. If you can get them to the
Mhm.
polls, it's still over.
You go to Austin, and I've heard numerous people say this, and it's starting to look like San Francisco.
Yeah, they're not too far off. That's why when you're driving down to San Antonio, most people they take a loop clear around the city. That you don't want to drive through Austin. You really don't. Traffic is hell. Freeways are hell. Just go around the city entirely.
I just don't like big cities in general.
San Antonio's not too bad. San Antonio's fairly down to earth still.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I drove truck, at least East Coast wise, if people said like, what's a good big city to drive through? Cleveland isn't terrible. Baltimore is actually fairly simple to get through.
The right time
Buffalo,
of day, Kansas City isn't too bad.
yeah. I'm gonna say Buffalo is a breeze to get through. Like I've heard people say Buffalo's bad. I'm like, the hell are you talking about? Like even during rush hour, going through Buffalo on 90. Now once you get off the interstate, like there's a difference when you're getting off the interstate, but just talking interstate wise, like all those cities are a breeze to get through during rush hour.
Well, or just take the
Baltimore
loop around. I mean,
even some of these cities taking the loop around doesn't matter. It's so congested because even those loops, they were never built for the traffic that they get now.
St. Louis can be that way around rush hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say like DC, Philly, anything in Connecticut, New Jersey, anything around the 5 boroughs.
DC.
Yeah, I said DC. That was the first thing I said.
Dallas is pure hell. Oklahoma City ain't much better as far as driving through. Oh my God.
We had, when I was working at Greyhound, we had this new driver come through he was running the DC to Cleveland route, and he's bitching about how bad the traffic was in Pittsburgh. One of the older drivers was like, dude, you just drove out of DC. You drive the Beltway
Yeah.
probably every fucking day, and you think Pittsburgh is bad?
The Beltway is friggin' nightmare. I mean, the Beltway, it's like 8 lanes wide, and I mean, it is bumper to bumper every friggin' lane. It's a friggin' nightmare.
Yeah.
Now, like 695 going around Baltimore, that can get a little rough too at rush hour, but at least it keeps moving.
Dude,
But like the
I got a
Beltway,
695 story for you. We were when we went to meet up with Kingpin and Krabby at the antique gun show down there in Baltimore. We were heading back down 695 south to get the 70. There was a massive accident over in the on the northbound side, right? And everybody came to a fucking dead stop on the southbound side. There was no reason for this. Everybody stopped and was watching the accident aftermath. It was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? I was waiting for somebody to hit somebody on our side and cause an accident.
by the way, I just got a text message from somebody reminding me that you were wrong, and I completely forgot about this. But in fact, you are wrong because insects are still considered animals.
Who said that insects weren't animals?
Great. So then you would realize that pound for pound, dung beetles are actually considered the strongest animal in the world.
Okay. Putting aside insects, which are totally different body structure wise. That's just picking at nits at that point.
Nits aren't that strong, but
yeah, Boss texted me and was like, by the way, Rich was wrong. And I was like, fuck, you're right. I didn't even think about the dung beetle. Pound for pound, domesticated house cats are the strongest felines alive, but not the strongest animal.
I've heard biologists that say they're the strongest land animal outside the insect kingdom. You have mammal, reptile, etc. The strongest vertebrae, shall we say. That if you took a house cat the size of a cougar, they would beat a grizzly bear in a fight because they would be that much stronger than a grizzly. Oh, because the way their musculature is.
Well,
if they were the size of a tiger, forget it. You wouldn't stand a chance.
They said, like, if you had one the size of a tiger, it would be able to jump like 60 or 70 feet in the air vertical.
Crazy.
Because, like, your average house cat can do a vertical leap of 4 to 5 feet, no problem.
Yeah. Our one cat, we have around 12-foot high ceiling in the hall. He jumps over half the height of the wall if I have the laser pointer pointed at it.
Nice.
And that's a standing vertical. It's not even a running vertical. It's a standing vertical. He's doing that. And he's jumping a good 7-8 feet straight up. And he does it routinely.
You got to admire Foss's dedication to listen to your show because he told us what he was going to do before he got off the program.
Uh-huh.
So during those activities, he's still listening to the show and
Uh-huh.
has the wherewithal to correct you. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty impressive.
That
Hello.
explains Ozzy's last comment too. I was trying to figure out what's he mean the ant, and then because I totally wasn't thinking about what we were talking about 16 minutes ago.
I thought about saying ants when you said that, but I was like, I didn't feel like going into a Animal Kingdom debate with you, just because I was like, I almost felt like you'd be like, no, ants are insects. They are not animals. Those are insects. It's different.
You
And I
got
was gonna be like,
lower
fuck,
animal
I'm
and
not. I'm
higher
not.
invertebrate, that whole argument.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm not. Just in case, like you made that argument, I was like, I'm not going down that road because it would just be a giant back and forth. Where we get nowhere. It'd just be me saying one thing, you saying the other, and it'd just be repeated over and over. I was like, fuck it, I'm not touching that one. But then Foss texted me and I was like, oh no, gotta touch it. But yeah, I completely forgot about dung beetles. And
Yeah.
the funny thing, like, I'm actually curious which is because I've heard the argument for both dung beetles and ants.
I've never seen an ant pushing a ball of poo the size of a watermelon before.
That's true.
I've seen dung beetles do that.
Ants are too smart to do that.
You motherfucker.
Keep her off the streets.
I bet you a carpenter ant probably could if it wanted to. They're pretty big.
Like Karen Carpenter?
No.
Mhm.
I'm sure she was probably may have been somebody's aunt, but no. They kind of like to chew wood. My mother's house had to be fumigated because there were carpenter ants that were making a nest in the house. Them things can be worse than termites sometimes. Size of a damn wasp.
Jesus.
What?
Of course, wasps are a distant relative of the ant family. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in the ant family.
Ants from hell.
Uh-huh. Well, hell, hornets are a type of wasp. Then you got those giant wasp out in the freaking southwest that lay their eggs on tarantulas. Those wasps were like 4 inches long, some shit like that. Good God, I wouldn't want to get stung by one of them bastards.
I don't like getting stung, period.
I damn sure don't want to get stung by one of them.
There's still 8 people watching this. Why?
9 technically.
Why?
1 on Rumble and 8 on YouTube.
Wow. Are they asleep or are they actually watching?
I don't know.
We may be. Have you ever postulated that this may just be a tool that people use to get to sleep at night on Sunday?
Maybe. I don't know.
Kind of like Johnny Carson used to be back in the day.
I don't know if you've ever seen them. Let's see how long it takes for my camera to work.
America
The ants I was talking about that kill the tarantulas by laying their eggs on them, they're like that long. Freaking huge fuckers.
America takes Rich White to bed on Sunday nights.
Hello.
Hello, America.
Hello, world. Who knows if everybody watching is in the United States?
Good evening, Americans. I'm Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
And now
Dear
you know
Casey.
the rest of the story.
Dear
It's the
Casey,
love
I was listening to Rich White the other night, and I took him to bed. It was wonderful. He's such a dental lover.
Whoa, now there's 10 on YouTube.
I was
Do I need to
wondering
keep
if he
doing
was
Casey
ever
Kasem
gonna
impressions?
I was wondering if he was ever gonna finish, but he just kept going.
His manhood touching my manhood. It was magical.
now you're going there.
Going way too far. Man, Paul Harvey
Casey,
was
if you
great.
could just tell him how much I love him,
Paul
and to
Harvey would have never said
keep your
it.
head up,
No,
your
Paul
feet on
Harvey
the
never
ground,
ever said
and
this
reach for
shit.
the stars.
Paul Harvey is going to come back from the dead and kick your ass.
Foss says white Anglo-Saxon Protestants are laying eggs.
Huh?
Yes. You don't get entertainment like this on a lot of channels.
No, and they have more subs because of it.
Is that true? I mean,
I don't know.
maybe
It
you just
sounded good
need
in my head.
maybe you just need to be more outrageous.
Oh, God. No matter what you say, I am not going full Howard Stern nonsense. It's not going to happen.
You need to get an avatar of you flipping people off so you can, gotta make a name for yourself, man. You gotta
I'm
stand
not
for
Johnny
something.
Cash.
That's
I
right.
feel like I'd be copying.
Instead of cash on the top of it, you could just type rich.
Oh, he's okay. I get where Foss was making a ethnic joke.
Well, yeah, I knew that. You didn't.
I wasn't paying attention until he said wasp. Oh,
Hello?
yeah.
Is anybody in there? Can you hear me?
No, I was not. It was just not clicking. It's late on a Sunday. My brain has decided to go on vacation.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
Good
You
song.
too?
Black Sabbath or Anthrax. Or Sunday Blood. No, that's Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Sunday. Well, Sunday
It's
Bloody
you
Sunday
too,
is you
dude.
too.
Get it right.
I told you my brain ain't working, Gary. Oh,
Sonny Bono.
you mean the guy that skates into trees or skis into trees?
Did.
He didn't take the George of the Jungle advice. Watch out for that tree.
That's why you don't ski.
Mm-hmm.
Rich White likes to go skiing in pickup trucks. Means he sits in the middle seat between two guys. Am I painting the picture well for everybody?
Find a pickup truck made today that has a middle seat.
Who said it had to be a pickup truck made today?
Well, there ain't many of the others still running.
Oh, yes, there are.
Not as many as there used to be.
My 2005 Silverado had a bench seat up front.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Yep.
My mother-in-law had a 96 and it didn't have a bench seat.
And say, I hate having that center console crap. I'd much rather have a bench seat.
Or at least a split bench where it's basically two
Yeah, that's fine too.
bucket seats, but the right side extends over farther.
Yep.
Screw them bucket seats. They get in the way of your gun rack, man.
when we had Chevy Lumina, the 4-door Lumina, it had a split bench in the front.
Shit, the old F-150s back in the day, you could get 3 people or 4 on a bench seat and probably 1 or 2 more on the floorboards. The dash didn't stick out all that far on them.
That 96 Chevy that my mother-in-law had, it was the extended cab. I sat in the back seat of that thing once and I said, I'm never doing that again.
I still remember my uncle's old farm pickups and stuff like that. This was back in the mid to late 70s. They still had the rubber mats on the bottom, and shoot, you didn't take them to no car wash and vacuum them out. You went to clean out the inside. You just took a water hose and sprayed it out and left the doors open so it'd dry.
My uncle had a F-150 and it had a floor drain on the interior so that it would drain that way.
Back when trucks were trucks and people didn't treat them like cars.
Garage queens.
And you just take a hose. It had a bench front seat, and in the driver's side footwell and in the passenger side footwell, it had drains for when you sprayed out the truck, the water would drain out the drain.
Jeeps have that. If you get a real Jeep, not one of these fake ones.
Every year you'd stick a different calendar on the dash. It had the little tear-off calendar on it.
Yep.
That's how you knew you were in a true farmer's vehicle, by golly. Whisk broom in the glove compartment, always. People probably don't even know what a whisk broom is now. That's how you cleaned them out. If you got a little mud on the floorboards or whatever, take the whisk broom to it. Heck yeah.
I know a lot of people, farmers included, that just like, I'm not fucking cleaning this thing out. You get in there, there's an inch of dry dirt and dust because they're like, it's meant to be a work truck.
Well, that could be fun though when you don't have any air conditioner and you're driving about 70 miles an hour down a dirt road. Windows open, and all of a sudden this stuff on the floor starts getting mixed into it. It's like, but yeah, I know what you mean. They were work trucks, by golly. You didn't dress up to get in this pickup. Probably got right out of your tractor and you got in that pickup to go home at night. If you had mud on you, dirt on you, you just did. Kleenex holder on a visor. I don't know about
See, that's one
that.
of the things.
If you look behind the seat, there's probably a log chain back there. Wrench or two. Probably a feed cap or 2 or 3 up on the dash. But man, they were fun to drive.
Still are.
I remember we used to drive the big harvest trucks and stuff like that. Those were a real thrill to drive because had the big old cabs on them, and you were up nice and high. And inside there might be small fire extinguisher. You also had usually a tank selector because you had dual fuel tanks on that thing, so you could switch to your reserve if you ran the big tank out. Dual rear axle. You ain't live. You ain't lived till you've shifted one of those with a full load a few times. And everybody remembers when you were learning and you got that thing caught in between gears and would just sit there and go.
Sounds like making hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Fucking making hamburger, just grinding shit. What do you think I'm doing?
Till you learned how to do it. Once you learned how to do it, that was never a problem anymore. There's a trick to that. You loaded so full of grain that if somebody ran out in front of you at a damn red light or something like that and you had to hit the brakes, the crap would come over the top of the cab. Like soybeans and stuff, because they'll roll right out of the back. It's like, oh, great. Fun times. But you got to do the fun stuff at the end because you got to play with the bed controls. Get to tilt the bed. That was the most fun thing you got to do all day. Dump it out.
Hell, a lot of these places you go to now, they got things where they lock in your wheels and shit. They just tilt the whole friggin' truck up. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen people that would come in with pickups loaded, completely full of grain. And yeah, they had the thing that the front wheels would sit up in. They could lift it up and dump it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I love putting that parking brake on, taking it out of gear and then pulling the two big red knobs down under the dash. And then when you got to bring it back down, you'd kick them both down and hear that thing go when it hit the bottom again. That was fun. Then the most exciting thing you got to do is get out of the truck after it got on the scale so you could go in and cool off for 10 seconds. Get your ticket. Because they'd have air conditioner on inside the station where the scales were. It's like, well, I got 15 seconds worth of air conditioning. Yay.
Hallelujah.
No, when you sat in those trucks wheat harvest, you'd sit out there for a couple hours usually waiting to get filled up. It's like, well, you couldn't wait because then because it's hot out there. It's not like you can run the air conditioner out in the middle of the field. So, well, they didn't have air. So you'd get to roll the windows down and get that thing going about 55, 60 miles an hour and finally get a little bit of the sweat evaporated off of you. Get to go into town. Yay. Did you have to double clutch? Yeah. I have. Usually I wouldn't have to, but
Not when you're floating.
I knew how to do it. Now it's all in the technique and varying the RPMs on the engine a little bit to match up. You get it to clunk right down in there. After a while, you just knew. Now here we were. And a lot of the kids my age were working farm jobs, so a lot of the same kids I knew and stuff would be in line at the elevator, and it's like all these 16, 17, 18-year-old kids driving fully loaded grain trucks, 15 tons. Felt like you were a big shot there for a while.
Minnie Wayne says, "Sounds glorious."
Oh, it was glorious back in the day. Because you knew you were sitting in that truck basically doing nothing for 2 hours, but you were getting paid. You didn't care. Plus, you got to listen to country music on the AM radio while you were waiting. Because that's about all you could get. So if you weren't a fan of country music, you just had to become one. That's all there was to it.
You're cheating hard. Nobody's gonna finish that one. Okay.
We'll make you weak. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep. Take it away. Nothing?
I was waiting on Rich.
Can't help you. I don't
Come
know
on,
all the
Rich.
words to that one.
You don't-
Sleep won't
Son of a.
the whole night through.
Not much of a country music listener.
Your cheating heart will tell on you.
Do you even know who it is, Rich?
Is it Hank Williams?
Very
Okay, yeah.
good.
It's probably the only person he knew to guess.
No, I know more country music people than that.
Next out of his mouth would have been like Kane Brown. And we just have to throat punch him.
That's okay, because I have no idea who the hell that person is.
No, it's okay. You don't need to. Saw this thing the other day where somebody was on the street, like, oh, hey, so who do you think a better country singer is, Kane Brown or George Strait? And these two chicks are like, oh, definitely Kane Brown. And I was just like, what?
Seriously?
I was just like, I about had an aneurysm.
I'll say, get back to me 20, 30 years from now.
Exactly.
See their body at work.
When he's got near, I think George Strait has 63 number ones now.
Yeah. You could have a whole party 2 or 3 hours long and play nothing but George Strait songs. And
Oh, yeah.
not have any repeats.
And that's just, well, hell, you're 63 number ones. Like, that's the 2 or 3 hours right there. Then you get into all the other hits. Like, shit.
Yeah, these guys nowadays can't hold a candle.
And say Conway Twitty was up there with number one hits as well.
Yep. Let's not forget George Jones.
I want to say that was one of my driving buddies. George Jones, George Strait. I say when I couldn't find anything to listen to that I was really feeling, I could just turn one of those guys on and drive for hours.
Yep.
What are the odds that most young people today only know Conway Twitty because of Family Guy?
I am fine with that. At least they know Conway Twitty. I have taught my daughters, if you ever get into a truck with a boy and he puts on Conway Twitty, you call me immediately. And at first, they're like, why? I was like, because he's looking to get in your britches, and we ain't having that. Conway Twitty's a panty dropper. Nope.
Or if he goes into the drive-in, and turns down George Jones, like, yeah,
It's
there's
true.
stuff gonna go down. Yeah.
What about Kenny Rogers? Where's he rank on that list?
Nowhere close. I mean, Kenny Rogers was good, but he wasn't like a panty dropper with his songs.
No, he had a couple.
You gotta remember, he was a crossover artist too,
Mm-hmm.
So was Conway
starting
Twitty.
with First Edition and stuff like that.
Conway Twitty started out with rock too. So did Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings was a member of Buddy Holly's band.
Ron Wayne brings up the Oak Ridge Boys.
Like the Oak Ridge Boys.
Well, if you grew up in the 70s, you definitely heard Oak Ridge Boys.
Mm-hmm.
They just did a farewell tour. I think it was last year. I wanted to go see it, and I didn't have the funds to do so.
Yeah, they're
Might have
getting
been
to be like
2022.
Kiss. Every so many years they do a farewell tour and then don't retire.
And before them, it
CC.
was the Statler brothers. Let's not forget the Statler.
Uh-huh.
Or no, I think 2022 was the 30th or 40th anniversary of Elvira, and then the year after that they were doing the farewell tour. Is what it was.
Who didn't go to a ballpark where they were playing Elvira before the game and everybody would sing it out loud because everybody knew it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was a big crossover.
Kansas City, that was a big deal. Yeah, they'd always play Elvira before the game.
such a good
What's
song.
funny, you would go to a Pirates game and they would play We Are Family, and right afterwards they play Elvira. It's like two songs that maybe didn't go along in the same lines very well, but hey, it worked. Stadium
Well,
would be singing both songs.
of course,
You go through
in
Rivers.
Kansas City, you had to hear Kansas City. Yeah. Going to Kansas City, here I come. And of course, center field. You had to play center field. Except each team had their own custom version. But yeah, you'd have a few beers before the game started. Everybody'd be singing and everything else.
Well, you go to a Steeler game back in the day and they'd be playing Charlie Daniels band in America. I mean, no, he only mentions the Steelers in the song. So
Just try to lay your hand on a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yep.
And I think you're going to find they
And they
understand.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when they got to that line, everybody would yell the Pittsburgh Steelers fan part.
Of course, you haven't lived, and I just say this from experience, until they do the national anthem in Arrowhead Stadium. They come to the last line where it says "Home of the Brave," and they do "Home of the Chiefs," and it's just louder than shit because you got 72,000 people screaming this. They still do it to this day. What's funny is when we have games in like Las Vegas and stuff like that, you can still hear half the crowd saying "Home of the Chiefs."
Mm-hmm. Heinz Field / Acrisure Stadium, whatever the hell they call it now, goes crazy in the fourth quarter when they play Renegade. That's been a thing since what, 2002, I think.
Something like that. and like, there's clips where you can see Tomlin call in for it. Like, hey, yo, tell him play Renegade. But man, when that song plays, it it changes the whole atmosphere in that stadium for the
Mhm.
team, everything. But I would love to see an interview with a retired player that went through that and hear them describe what it's like being on the other side of that ball when
Well,
that song hits.
do you know the story about how it started?
I've heard it, but I do not remember it off the top of my head.
The Steelers were losing, okay, and they played the song just at random in the stadium. And right after they played it, Joey Porter either got an interception returned for a touchdown or it was a fumble that he recovered and returned it for a touchdown. And the Steelers ended up winning the game. That's how it started.
Nice.
That's kind of how the St. Louis Blues got started with Gloria. Is somebody played that after a couple games and they ended up winning like 9 games in a row, and so it got to be a tradition after that. So
If I remember right, the game where it started was a playoff game too. Don't remember who they were playing. And now his son's a member of the Steelers.
Yep.
Not quite as big as his dad, though.
but
No.
now the old Pirates back in the Three Rivers days were one of the first teams to have theme songs for all the Pirates when they would come to the plate and stuff like that. That's kind of a big deal back in the day. Now it's pretty common. Every player's got their at bat music.
Being a kid and going to Three Rivers for a Pirates game, and the crowd would go absolutely crazy. Now coming to the plate, Willie Stargell, and everybody would just freak out and lose their shit. It was crazy, absolutely crazy.
Or in Kansas City, it would be third baseman, number 5, George Brett.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, another one they would go crazy. Now coming to the plate, playing third base, Bill Madlock. Crazy. Two of them always got the biggest pop when they came up to the bat.
Or when they'd bring out the closer. I remember Quisenberry would come out. Yeah, he'd get a hell of a reception. That or good old Auerbosky, if anybody remembers the Mad Hungarian. Oh, shit. He could get a crowd riled up. You remember him,
Both
Rich?
runs have left. Huh?
Said, do you remember Auerbosky?
Not offhand.
He would get this real mean look on his face, and then he would grab the baseball like he was really pissed. He'd turn around, grab the rosin bag, and just rub the shit out of it for about 30 seconds. And the crowd would just go wild, and he'd rub it, and then he would flip around 180 degrees, face the batter, and charge a mound. They called him the Mad Hungarian. He had this evil-looking handlebar mustache and everything else. Relief pitchers are kind of a out there group anyway. Kind of a different kind of animal.
Yeah.
They had to intimidate people like Goose Gossage did. He just threw the ball as hard as he could, and you didn't know where the hell it was going to be. So if you were a batter, you were scared to even get close to the plate.
Down to 6 on YouTube and still got the 1 over on Rumble.
I'm sorry, folks.
Well, hasn't everybody went to bed yet? Just almost.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
Well,
if
hell,
anybody else is live or not.
I don't know.
It's like,
There were a few people that were going live tonight.
let me go look real quick. Terribly Tactical still alive. He's got 25 people watching. Wow.
Firearms guy went live earlier.
Yeah. He had 1.6K views. Wow. Ghost and Clover were live with their podcast
Uh-huh.
this evening.
Down to 4 on YouTube now. Yeah. We've been going for almost 3.5 hours now.
Well, we haven't been known doing the shortest live streams in the world here. So. Scottish American had 145 views earlier. Unfortunately, I slept through that entire podcast.
I did not fall asleep tonight like I did last weekend. Yes. Anybody out there still watching wondering why we didn't have the show last weekend? I kind of fell asleep. And my sleep was off because I was out of my sleep medication, and Amy didn't want to wake me up, so I kind of slept through when the show was supposed to be.
I went to bed. I'm not exactly sure what time it was, but I figured my alarm going off at 9 o'clock, I would wake up. And of course, I woke up at about 7:45, wide awake. It's like, well, shit, may as well get up. But as with most Sundays, I knew I'd eventually pay for it later. Come around 4 or 5 o'clock, it's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go lay down. And I set an alarm for 7 o'clock or 7:30. I remember it going off, and I turned the alarm off, thinking it's time to get out of bed. Next thing I know, it's like 8:30. It's like, oh shit, I went back to sleep. Wonder if Rich is still on. Yep, he's still on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ever miss your stream, it's usually not intentional. It's because my nap got carried away with itself, which happens sometimes.
Yeah, I can see how that happens.
Yeah, when you're got a good nap going on, you're comfortable. It's like, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm comfy.
Yeah. Well, last Sunday I hadn't really slept in a couple of days. I mean, the last good sleep I had was that Thursday night into Friday. After doing your show and stuff, I couldn't get to sleep.
Mhm.
Saturday, I couldn't get to sleep. Sunday, I finally just passed out, and she didn't want to wake me up. She's like, "You were sleeping. I wasn't waking you up. Like, you needed to get sleep."
Well, that's like week before last. I was at my daughter's, and I took a little bit of a nap on her sofa. And I woke up around 3:30 or so, and I got up to say goodbye to the kids, and they were both out. So I packed up all my stuff and left. Shoot, I got all the way home, and finally my daughter sends me a text and says, "Bye." I was like, "Sorry, you were sleeping too good. I didn't want to wake you up." So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of mean. I figured she's gonna know what the deal is when she wakes up and I'm gone. So
Yeah, Dad doesn't love her anymore.
Yeah, that's why Dad drove an hour and a half just to see her and another hour and a half home, all for the privilege of spending, over $50 just to take everybody out to eat because I hate my kids. That's exactly why. Because I have nothing better to do on a Saturday.
Nope.
Actually, I don't, but that's beside the point. I enjoy seeing my kids on Saturdays. I look forward to it, but the drive itself is just boring as hell because I've made that same drive. I swear that vehicle could do it without me even turning the wheel. It knows where I'm going. In fact, Apple Maps will come up on my watch and it tell me how long it's going to take to get to my daughter's house, and I haven't even left the apartment yet. So, you're going to go see Sarah, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No,
After a while, it knows your routine.
yesterday, speaking of Saturdays, I got woke up. I was having a nice sleep. Get woke up because the town decides that on November 2nd is when they're going to have the Veterans Day parade.
Really?
For those of you keeping score at home, Veterans Day is November 11th.
No
Yeah,
shit.
It doesn't vary. Yeah, it's always November the 11th.
I had no idea.
They only did the parade 9 days early.
Did we sign like some armistice that day or something? Like, why did they make November 11th Veterans Day?
Yeah,
Gee, it may be.
maybe
Huh.
something to do with World War One or something along those lines.
Well, I'll be.
Yeah, I believe the Marine Corps has their birthday around that time too.
Giant Crayola cake.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the Marine Corps gets Veterans Day. The Army gets Flag Day.
So they get Fag Day?
Flag. FLAG.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow. Damn.
No, Fag Day would be the Navy.
Which falls around the Marine Corps.
Well, the Navy's the whole reason why there was Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
We want you. We want you. We want you as a new recruit. In the Navy.
I don't think we got any people out there in the Navy still watching.
You can
They're all like,
sail
fuck
the
this.
7
I'm outta here.
seas.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Village People did a song about the Navy. Yeah, defense dads out there.
Defensive dad.
Yeah. We're back up to 6 people on YouTube. Defense dad's asking, isn't it past your bedtime? It's past mine. Oh, it's only midnight here.
And after midnight, you're going to let it all hang out.
I don't know. It's after midnight now. It's 12:01. Now we're living after midnight.
How about racing after midnight?
Just don't get hell bent for leather.
How about I get whiskey bent and hellbound?
I don't need no parental guidance. But you got another thing coming.
Only if you're breaking the law. Defense dad said he went to bed at 9 because he had nothing better to do but woke up.
Because he went round and round.
Yeah, that's the only Rat song I can remember.
Same here.
Who thought it was a good idea to name a glam metal band after a rodent anyway?
Well, they used two T's, so.
Maybe it's an abbreviation for something.
Rattle from the can of hairspray that they went through.
That could be.
Which 80s band do you think used the most hairspray?
Ooh.
I was gonna say Go-Go's, but
I don't know. I feel like Cinderella might be up there.
Poison, CC DeVille by himself.
Well, if we're just talking about individuals, I mean, at that point, you got to throw in D. Snyder.
Well, no, I'm talking about CC DeVille used enough for the whole band.
Still feel like D. Snyder probably used enough for the whole band. That was some wicked hair.
I think in the 80s it would probably be easier to list bands that didn't use hairspray at all. Because you probably only have a couple. AC/DC and yeah. That'd probably be it.
Meatloaf.
Does Meatloaf count as a whole band though?
Yeah.
Granted, he's the size of a whole band.
was.
It was. His son-in-law's band, I guarantee, used some hairspray.
Oh, yeah. For those that don't know, his son-in-law is Ian Scott, the
Scott Ian.
lead guitarist. Or, yeah, that's what I meant. Scott Ian, lead guitarist for Anthrax.
Mm-hmm. And Joey Belladonna, damn sure used some hairspray. Joey Belladonna being most of the time the lead singer for Anthrax. Particularly in the 80s.
It's amazing with all that pyro that more people didn't have their hair set on fire.
I know, right?
I heard it was a real thriller when that happened.
Only when the Jacksons were on tour. That was on that big Pepsi tour that they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, James Hetfield said, "Hold my beer," and just got set on fire, period. And then Axl Rose showed how much of an asshole he really was. And only led to a riot in Montreal. And imagine being that pyro guy after that happened. How did the pyro guy not notice that he was standing there?
Probably had Great White's pyro guy.
Probably.
Let's not scope out the venue or anything before we set these things up.
A venue
That
that's
makes
not,
sense.
yeah, the venue that's not even cleared to have pyro in it.
It's not big enough to have pyro in
Uh-huh.
it. Let's be real.
Well, they weren't the venue wasn't licensed for pyro. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't big enough. The ceilings weren't high enough. They should have never been setting pyro off in that building to begin with.
Typically, when you play smaller venues like that, you don't bring your pyro with you.
Mm-mm.
People aren't expecting it anyway. They just want to
Yeah,
see
do
it
a
here.
laser show or some kind of light show. You don't do pyro.
Right. Mostly those people are just drunked up and want to hear music and dance.
Mm-hmm.
Bet that building got a complete remodel after that, that's for sure.
Defense dad with the hair spray thing said the flock of seagulls. Yeah, they used a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
And Duran, they used a good bit.
Now, see, I like the good old bands like Devo. They just put flower pots on their heads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Looked way cooler.
Yeah. Defense dad said Richard Pryor's pyro guy was a amateur. Well, didn't he set himself on fire?
Yes, he did. Hi, George.
Ricky Nelson set himself on fire. Not as bad though.
No.
But it's all right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably felt like the first time.
He learned his lesson well. So you people out there in the audience, you know that you can't get entertainment like this too many places. So
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
make sure
Yep.
and like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Yes.
Rich White needs you. Share
You don't
too.
actually have, you don't actually have to subscribe.
Yes, you do.
You
It
should
helps.
log on with all your accounts and subscribe.
Uh-huh.
Make up some. Subscribe with those too.
Vote early, vote often. Well, speaking of that, you see where Jimmy Kimmel's getting a bunch of grief because he's telling people if you're voting for Trump, vote the next day.
Jimmy
Like,
Kimmel's an asshole.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing how much cred he has considering his start in show business.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
Nan show.
People have a short memory.
Mhm.
let's watch chicks with giant tits jump on trampolines.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now,
Oh,
somebody else could do that for their start, and today they'd be like, "Oh, we gotta cancel him," but
Oh.
because his politics aligned the right way, nope,
Mhm.
he's such a great guy. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, remember, he dressed in as Oprah in blackface.
But he gets a pass
Mm-hmm.
because he's one of theirs now. Yeah. The word hypocritical comes to mind.
Don't you steal my word.
The Democratic Party, where the rules apply to everybody else but them.
Yep.
But man, all the important people are coming out. You know, LeBron came out and said that he's supporting Kamala. So
Yeah. Oh, the big announcement today was Lady Gaga supports Kamala Harris. Like, yeah,
Who
okay.
cares?
Who gives a shit?
Who the hell's Lady Gaga anymore? Anyway, come on, man.
She
So
was the one that
10
played
years
Harlequin
ago.
in the shitty Joker sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish we could ask people at polling stations when they go up and be like, "I'm here to cast my vote today." If we can just be like, "Did a celebrity in any way influence your vote?" And when people say yes, we say, "No, you're too easily led. You need to go home and grow up. You don't get to vote today. I'm sorry." But this idea that people are just gonna listen to the celebrity, and the sad thing is that there's people out there that are that. Oh, LeBron James said this, or Taylor Swift said this, or whoever. You're talking about people that are worth like LeBron James and Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's net worth is pushing $1 billion. LeBron James is getting up there too. Like they're so fucking disconnected from what your reality is, from what your plight is, from what your everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. I mean, hell, you guys heard me say this for years now. But people need to fucking just think for themselves. Don't just hear something and go, "Oh, yep, that's it." Look into it. Put some fucking thought into it. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, I love the conspiracy theories about why Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce. It's so that they can win Missouri.
Oh, because it's all been orchestrated as a PR campaign. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard that one yet, but
Oh
that's
yeah.
great. That's great.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's all been scripted out. They know
Uh-huh.
exactly when it's going to end and all that stuff.
Yep. As soon if Kamala wins, they'll break up. If she loses, they'll break up.
That's
I'm all
awesome.
right as long as they break up and Kelsey can just start concentrating on football again.
Well, that's the thing. Like he is one of those. He's easily led. He does not think for himself well.
Oh no.
Um, like overall, like fine. Travis Kelsey's fine. I like Jason Kelsey a lot more. But I find Jason Kelsey to at least like he thinks for himself, puts his own thoughts to shit. But Travis Kelsey, like he is a sheeple.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to say it, but you're right. He gets with Taylor Swift, and all of a sudden it's these,
Mm-hmm.
I got my vaccination. You need to get yours too. It's like, just don't tell me what to do, asshole.
Have you noticed how the atmosphere has gotten colder between Patrick Mahomes' wife and uh, Taylor Swift whenever they show them in the box together since Mrs. Mahomes has come out as being a Trump supporter?
I did not hear that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't, I don't
there's
blame him. Yeah.
there's a palpable coldness in that press box.
And I should add,
The
like,
Mahomes don't need Taylor Swift and Kelsey. They
I was gonna say I should add, like, I could really care less how anybody's gonna vote. Like, vote how you want to fucking vote. Just put some fucking thought into it for yourself. Don't just listen to some fucking celebrity or talking head and go, oh, yep, that they said that, so I'm just gonna believe it and not fucking put any rational thought of my own to it or anything.
My girlfriend says vote this way, so that's what I'm gonna do. My mother was that way. Whoever she was dating or married to at the time, whoever they voted for, that's who she was voting for. Like in the 80s and shit. Her and my stepfather were vote Democrats. We're voting for freaking damn it, what the hell was his name? Mondale. And then in '88, we're voting for Dukakis. And then my stepfather goes to jail. My mother starts dating a guy who's Republican. I'm voting for Bush.
I was going to say,
I think you better
so
look at
that's
lesbian.
who voted for the caucus because there wasn't very many.
No, there weren't. My stepfather asked me, if you could vote, if you're old enough to vote, who will you vote for? This was back when Dukakis was running. I said, I'd be voting for Bush.
But the
The
difference
look on his face,
the difference was back in those days, especially with Dukakis. Dukakis wasn't a bad guy.
no, he was just a
He's
dumbass.
just a little inept, but
Yeah.
he wasn't hateful and horrible like these personalities you have now that are running for office. Well, neither was Mondale. Mondale tried to cut down Reagan. Reagan shut that shit down real quick.
Oh, the whole, I'm not going to let the age of my opponent affect.
That's the classiest response to something like that.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to hold my opponent's age against him because of his lack of experience.
that pretty much tanked that campaign right there. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But if there
Reagan
could have
did-
been an internet to win, he would have won the interwebs back then.
Oh, yeah. Reagan
This is
just
over.
completely shut down Mondale with that quip. Like, that was the
And
end of it right
he
there.
knew it. He knew it.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell. It's like, shit, I tried and it backfired. Damn.
Uh-huh. That was when old Ron was on the top of his game right there. And it turned into a blowout.
Well, he was one of the more unlikely, if you follow Ron Reagan and his, Hollywood actor, president of Screen Actors Guild, ran for, governor of California, all this stuff's like the least likely person you'd ever think would come onto the national scene and be a viable candidate for president. But he did it with personality.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a guy in 1955 who asked Marty McFly, "Who's president in 1985?" And he's like, "Oh, Ronald Reagan." And he's like, "The actor?" Like, I mean, it was unbelievable. I don't care what anybody says. Back to the Future is a documentary. I said what I said.
I was like born in East LA when Jan Michael Vincent quizzing Cheech Marin about being a citizen. He asked him, "Who's president of the United States?" Cheech Marin's response, "I don't know, that Death Valley Days guy, John Wayne." And then they're dragging him across the border. It's like, the president of the fucking United States is fucking Ronald Reagan. That was a funny movie all the way around, though. Born in East LA. Underrated movie.
And not nominated for even one Academy Award.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the scene where Cheech is teaching the Chinese guys how to be Mexican is freaking hilarious. We need you to teach these guys English. They're OTMs. OTMs? What's OTM? Other than Mexican. And a bunch of Chinese guys. Paul Rodriguez thinking that the picture of Jesus is talking to him because the answering machine is behind the picture. Thinks Jesus is telling him to bring him a beer. Cheech's neighbors crank calling the house and bring me a cerveza. Paul Rodriguez thinks it's the band picture. Tell him to bring him a beer. Jesus, cerveza?
Oh, wow.
We've been going almost 4 hours. I think we need to start wrapping this up.
Only wrap it up if you're a real bitch. Raw dog it.
Oh, you be quiet. Anything you want to plug or anything, Gary?
No, not that anybody's listening, actually, but I do a show on Friday nights on my channel at 9 o'clock Central Time. If you're bored, you might come by and watch. It might be kind of cool, and then again, it might not be. But we do try. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep. If you're not a member over on Gary's channel, go be a member. And then on his Wednesday members only stream between now and the end of the year, he's giving away a knife on every members chat.
8 o'clock p.m. Central every Wednesday. That's right.
Thanks for jumping on, Gary.
Yep, thank you.
How about you, barbecue?
First off, I would just like to let anybody know that if you're one still listening live, or if you're listening in replay and you've made it to this point and you heard me say you only wrap it up if you're a little bitch and you need to raw dog it, no, please use protection when having sex. Safe sex is good. Because if you made it this far, you're probably a degenerate, and we just don't need you reproducing. Just my thoughts, just an idea. Realize I'm also on this panel this long, so I don't need to be reproducing anymore either. So I'm in that boat with you. But yeah, don't raw dog it. Then as far as anything, I guess you people could go over, be sure to hit the subscribe button on Rich's channel. Especially if you're already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button again. That way you get double notifications.
I don't think that's how it works.
I tried to say it with a straight face, but I couldn't hold it in.
Did you say you people? Oh, my.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I'm on the road to 2,000 subs. I'm going to try and get there before the end of the year. But most importantly, I'm just trying to get there before Rich hits 500 subs. So I'm going to be dropping some knife videos and cool shit like that. Putting in some effort to getting my subs over the next 2 months. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for the invite, Rich.
Yep. And on that note, we will bid y'all adieu for this week. And thanks for watching. If you've been out there on the YouTube and the one person out there on Rumble this whole time. Don't know who you are, but thank you for being out there. And until next week, we will see y'all later. And let me remember where the hell they put our stuff on.
Auf Wiedersehen, everybody.
Yeah, so Wiedersehen. Good night, folks.
Now listen up, babies. I'm here to ride the train down the funky town. The Unloaded Media Channel is doing a giveaway once he hits 500 subscribers. For more information and details, check the description down below. And you too can be funky like a monkey.